Call order.
This is the regular meeting of the Land Use Board of the Township of Greenwich. Adequate notice of this meeting was given in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act in that a notice was published in the Star Ledger and the Daily Record newspapers. Notice was posted on the municipal bulletin board in the Township Administration Building in Greenwich Township, New Jersey, and notice was filed with the Township Clerk.
Roll call.
Mr. Scuderi,
Here.
Mr. Barsney is recused. Mr. Chillo,
Here.
Mr. Baylor.
Here.
Ms. Cullen. Here. Mr. Hill, recused. Mr. Blunt,
Here.
Ms. Sherlaw. Here. Mr. Bradlaugh,
Here.
Ms. Parker. Here. Mr. Graham.
Here.
Mr. Coulter John,
Here.
Mr. Ritt.
Here. All right, flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're gonna adopt some minutes before we get into our hearing tonight. So members of the board, I'm pretty sure almost everybody has attended all the meetings or at the very least watched the recording of the meetings. Is there anybody here that has not watched a recording or was not in attendance for March, April, May, June 5th, June 12th, and July of 25 meetings? Is there anybody that needs to exclude those? Jeremy?
I need to exclude June 5th.
All right. I'll take that out. Anybody else?
Starting with days.
You know what, to make it easy, just abstain on that.
Yeah, that's fine.
You abstain on all.
Yeah,
So we'll take out June 5th.
we're here. They haven't listed as present
I understand.
on the notes. Members present on each one of these regular meeting notes. I got you.
Yeah. So what- for the,
We'll be taking them all out.
yeah, instead of doing each month
We're
individually,
gonna do a motion on all of them except for June 5.
Okay.
And then we'll do June 5 separately, as long as.
Okay.
all right, all the members have, you had an opportunity to read through the minutes that were emailed to you. Is there any comments, questions, or concerns on the minutes for all the meetings that were sent to you, with the exception of June 5? Seeing none, I ask for a motion to adopt the minutes.
I'll make the motion.
First, I'll second it.
Mr. Scuderi,
Yes.
Mr. Chichillo,
Yes.
Ms. Cullen. Yes. Mr. Blunt,
Yes.
Ms. Sherlaw. Yes. Mr. Bradlaugh,
Yes.
Ms. Parker. Yes. Mr. Graham,
Yes.
Mr. Coulter John,
yes,
Mr. Baylor.
All right, next will be the minutes for June 5th, 2025. The exception of Mr. Blunt. Anybody have any questions, concerns regarding the minutes that were emailed to you? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the minutes for June 5th. Somebody other than Mr. Blunt? Make the motion. Make the motion. I'll second it.
Mr. Scuderi,
Yes.
Mr. Chichillo,
Yes.
Baylor. Ms. Cullen. Yes. Mr. Blunt,
Stay.
Ms. Sherlaw. Mr. Bradlaugh,
Yes.
Ms. Parker. Yes. Mr. Graham,
Yes.
Mr. Coulter John,
yeah,
Order business, public hearing, continuation, board 2024-04. Applicant is the Tinsley Greenwich Township, NJ LLC. Mr. Lepari.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Michael LaParry. I'm with the law firm of Mandelbaum and Barrett, and I am counsel to the applicant. I don't have an introduction at this point in time. We're just going to continue, so I will call up my engineer to continue the cross-examination from where we left off at the last.
Right, so just, I guess, housekeeping is, we have 4 members of the public question your engineer, which is Patrick Miller, Neil Mildmore, sorry if I'm butchering these names, Len Walensky and Neil Needle. So, and the attorney has already finished the cross. So we're gonna continue with the cross, but before we do that, I know there was a question asked of your engineer about if he knew the sizes of the cul-de-sacs, and he didn't, and he was gonna see if he could just. Culverts, I'm sorry. And he said he was gonna see if he could measure them, so can we first have the engineer indicate if he's done them? Yes.
Well, under oath.
You're still under oath, and you know that microphone doesn't work.
So our survey team has scheduled the work for us to determine the capacity based on the question from a member of the public. We need to get more information about the outfall. Our survey team collected the information at the entrance to all three culverts as they leave our site. But we need to go across the street into the wooded property to get the remainder of that info. That survey work has been scheduled, and we will have an update for you at the next meeting.
Okay, do you know, the survey work has been scheduled when?
You know, you have to talk to our field crew. I'm sure we can get it done in the next few weeks. Once the next.
Okay, so you're gonna, December 11th is when you're gonna come back with that, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So, continue with the public cross-examination. Who's next? Come on up.
Here or now? Here.
You know what we did? We said this is the question point right over here. So you could look at the witness, the board members can hear you, our court reporter can hear you, and then when he answers back, we will hear him. So can you identify yourself for the record?
Joanna Murphy,
And can you, even though I know how to spell Murphy, can you spell Murphy for the record?
Murphy.
Okay, and are you a township resident or a resident of somewhere else?
Bloomsbury.
Okay. Questions only, go ahead.
Good evening. What kind of security features have you in place at the building? And can you point them out on the diagram, or would you put them, I don't see the diagram here tonight, but would you put them up on where it's an external security feature for you?
So at this time, as far as I'm aware, there's no external security features. I think that's something maybe the architect who will be coming up after me can answer. I'm not aware of any security camera setup or any sort of thing. That's usually tenant specific for what they're looking for. I know that the building will be obviously locked at the entranceways, and there's no gates, as I previously testified, along the doors. So.
May I ask you a question? Would my security questions be better asked of the architect, or can I continue?
You can continue, but you better ask of the architect, because he's gonna keep on saying, I don't know. I don't know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next? Anybody else questions? Come on up, same spot.
Can you identify yourself for the record?
Jennifer Moore,
Spell that last name.
MOORCROFT.
And it's Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Okay. And you are a township or a non-township resident? Greenwich. Okay, go ahead.
Page 53 of the stormwater management report, under the heading of excavation difficulties, rock removal, it states that the removal of intact bedrock may require ripping tools, pneumatic hammers, pre-splitting and or expensive grout. Blasting may be conducted to expedite rock removal. Does Township Ordinance 11-1.13?
Whoa, slow down.
Sorry,
Ordinance what?
11-1.13 on blasting apply in this case.
Sorry, I want to confirm, you said that was in our stormwater report?
Yes,
Yes,
you said it was on page
Page
53.
It's under the heading of excavation difficulties, rock removal.
So I want to. Ordinance sections 11. But the entire chapter 11 relates to streets and sidewalks. So 11.1.3, an application or excavation would be excavation for streets and sidewalks. So you're sure that's the ordinance that you wanna use to question them?
I believe so. It says about the no blasting shall be allowed unless approved by the appropriate state agency and the township engineer.
Instead of limiting the question to this ordinance, because technically this ordinance,
Okay.
it's not gonna apply to the area at issue, why don't you just say, if there's any blasting, and then
Okay.
ask your question. Go ahead. If there's any blasting,
If there's any blasting, what?
will you,
Yep.
will the applicant,
Yeah. If there is the bedrock required, will you be doing blasting at that site?
I think that's yet to be determined. I want to be clear. Page 53 of our stormwater report is actually a reference to the Whitestone's original geotechnical report, which was not prepared by our office. A subsequent updated geotechnical report was submitted recently in the last submission package to the township that has more information on the geotechnical conditions of the property.
does the new Whitestone report say that there could be a circumstance under which the applicant would have to do blasting?
I did not prepare the report, so I'm not familiar with it. I will say that at this point in time, with means and methods, I don't think the applicant has determined how they're gonna excavate that.
Do you know whether the new report has modified what it says on page 53 of the stormwater report, which references the old Whitestone report?
I do not.
So if you don't, read what it says on page 53 out loud, please.
You're talking about the original?
Yes, and if you don't know if that's been changed, so that might still apply, so let's read it to put it into the record.
So I'm talking from page 53, is not numbered, maybe it's page 53 of the PDF, but what section of the report is it in?
It's under the heading of excavation difficulties, rock removal.
So this is page 6 of the preliminary geotechnical investigation and stormwater area evaluation report prepared by Whitestone dated June 21st, 2023. That section, excavation difficulties and rock removal, is stating the top of weathered rock was encountered as shallow as 4 feet below grade surface. As such, bedrock removal should be anticipated. Heavy excavating equipment with ripping tools will typically be effective in removing dense, hard weathered soils, transition materials, and cobble boulder-sized rock fragments during site excavation. The speed and ease of excavation will depend on the type of grading equipment and the skill of the
Slow it
equipment
down,
operators,
slow it down.
and the geologic structure of the material itself, such as the direction of bedding, planes of weakness, and spacing between discontinuities. Planned excavation and combined excavation such as for footing and utility trenches, as well as for removal of intact bedrock, may require ripping tools, pneumatic hammers, pre-splitting, and/or expansive grout. Blasting may be conducted to expedite rock removal.
It's a stop there. If blasting is done, will the applicant comply with the state requirement, which according to the other ordinance, which doesn't apply to this, but if it's a state requirement, it's gonna apply to all
Answer is
blasting.
yes, but with rock blasting, it's a specialized operation. There are licensed contractors who specialize in that work. Obviously, there's coordination that is done with the state to make sure that those blasting activities are done safely. Again, I'm not an expert on blasting, but such measures would be, for example, setting up seismic measurement devices along the property line to measure any vibrations as they go off the property or other such things. Again, I'm not an expert in rock blasting, but that is something that, again, specialized contractor would do, their license, especially the way they handle explosive materials, how they conduct themselves, etc. I'm not familiar with the specific state statute, but yes, any contractor, if rock blasting were to be done, would be doing it within the regulations as defined by the state.
Do we know which state agency oversees blasting? Would it be the NJ?
I would imagine it's the DEP, but
So you're not sure?
I am unsure.
The Township Code Performance Standards, section 16-19C, A4
16,
-19C.
19, 2. Yeah, look at this.
See A4.
Hold on. 16-19C, and then performance standards.
fix the videographer at the podium, and he's well out of focus.
Somebody talking over.
Hold on a minute.
Okay, A4. So read A4 from the ordinance. Your question is gonna be
Yeah.
based on this?
Yeah, vibration, there shall be no vibration which is discernible to the human sense of feeling beyond the immediate site on which use is conducted.
So you're asking him, will they comply with that?
Yeah, will this prohibit blasting during construction?
The answer is yes, the applicant will comply. As I mentioned before, some of the standard things that are done are setting up seismic equipment at the property line to measure those seismic reactions during any blasting activity.
And are you aware that many of the homes located in the 1,000-foot zone are well over 125 years old and have stacked stone and rubble foundations with fragile limestone grout?
Not familiar with the construction of the adjacent buildings and within 1,000 feet.
And then are you also aware the adjacent properties are on well water?
Again, I'm not familiar with how adjacent properties receive utility service.
Should the land use board and township engineer require it, will the applicant conduct pre and post blast surveys of all wells, underground utilities and building foundations within a prescribed distance of the property line?
I think that's something that if blasting were to be conducted, that could be worked out with the
What she's asking is, would the applicant consent to the land use board imposing that as a condition if it approved the application?
So again, I'm not familiar with the specifics of the state regulations, but this does sound very familiar. The state does outline, for example, free blasting surveys and things of that like. I don't know the specifics of that, but the applicant will comply with those state standards.
So if the board imposed that as a condition, the applicant would consent to that. That's what
I'm not
you're saying?
familiar with the specific radius, but whatever the state requires, the applicant will comply with.
Okay, so if the board imposes a condition that you comply with the state regulations, you'll comply with it.
Yes.
Should the land use board and township engineer require it, will the applicant obtain insurance and set up an escrow account to cover potential damage due to the community due to the blasting?
Well, for all these questions, the applicant will comply with whatever we're required to.
Yeah,
do.
but what if the state regulations do not require insurance and an escrow account?
We're gonna comply with whatever the state
I
requires.
understand. So you're saying if the state doesn't require that, and if the board imposes that as a condition, the applicant's gonna object to that condition?
I would have to hear what the condition is.
The condition would be that the applicant obtain an insurance policy, probably for, let's say, $2 million or maybe up to $10 million, and post escrow in an amount that's gonna be determined by the township engineer to cover any damage to homes within some parameter that are damaged by blasting. That would be the condition.
There's a state requirement. We will comply with the
Right.
state requirement. If the
Wait,
board
listen, you can
imposes-
say it 3 times, the state
Yeah, I
requirement,
heard
I
what
get it.
you're
I'm
saying.
asking, if it's not a state requirement and the board imposes that as a condition, will the applicant comply with it or not? That's the question.
We have to comply with any condition of a resolution of approval.
Excellent,
Okay,
thank you.
but if we,
Here we go.
we'd have to hear it first and see if we're gonna object to it.
And then what assurance can you give us that these properties will not suffer if blasting is carried out, particularly the homes, school and businesses closest to the site?
I mean, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but the state does have regulations for how blasting activities are conducted. I just want to make it clear that for the general public, when we're talking about blasting activities, this isn't something like in an old time movie where they explode half a hill. They drill small holes into the bedrock and detonate very small charges. This isn't like an entire landslide situation. So again, the state is very strict about seismic activity as it moves the property. The applicant will comply with that process to make sure that there's no damage to adjacent property.
My suggestion is when it's time for public comment, then address the board and ask them if they're going to approve it to impose whatever conditions you're asking about.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? You can identify yourself for the record.
My name is Rick Connect, spelled K-N-E.
A-N-E.
C-H-T.
C-H-T. Resident or non-resident?
Resident.
Okay, go ahead, question.
This is all to do with the sanitary injection well. Are you able to answer questions about that?
The sanitary injection well design was prepared or is currently being prepared by the consultant Hauser Engineering. Our office is not involved in that design.
Okay, so let's ask the applicant attorney, who will be able to answer questions about the sanitary injection well?
Why don't we have them ask the questions and we'll see if we can answer them. Maybe they're very generic.
He just said-
Sufficient answer. Well, we don't have anybody here from Hauser
I
Engineering.
know. Who will answer questions on the sanitary injection well if he has no idea? That's what he just said. You're gonna bring someone in to answer questions about it, or you wanna hear the questions first?
Yeah.
Why don't you ask your questions, even though he can't answer them, just so the applicant attorney can figure out if they can get the answer.
So there won't be answers to them. I'll just list the
No.
questions.
That's what I gather.
The most recent site plans have changed from a regular septic drain field to a sanitary injection well. Why was the traditional septic not used for the current plan?
Can you answer that?
Actually can, yes.
Okay.
So. The original design for the septic field, disposal field is actually still under consideration. It's not off the table. Hauser, was waiting on geotechnical results that were done in tandem with Whitestone. Whitestone's report was actually just submitted to the township in the last, submission package. Hauser needs to analyze, the soil data from there to determine if a disposal field is still possible or if they're gonna do the deep well injection option, but it hasn't been determined or finalized yet, but both options are still on the table.
If they would put in a deep injection well, what depth would the sewage and fluent actually be injected into the ground?
I'm not familiar with the design.
Next question would it be above or below the aquifer, which you can't answer.
Again, anything related to the specifics of design, I cannot comment
Keep
on.
on asking, let him keep on answering, then we'll kick it over to the attorney.
Is it correct that unlike a traditional septic system, this method bypasses natural soil for bedrock filtration, sending waste directly into deep geological layers?
Cannot answer that question.
Ask these questions slowly though, so the court reporter can pick it up.
What system is being used to clean up the effluent before it's injected into the ground?
So, again, I will defer to Hauser, but I am somewhat familiar. There will be a typical septic tank before whether it's a disposal field or a deep injection well, there will be a septic tank ahead of that, which will provide treatment via some chemicals before it's injected into the ground or dispersed in a wider field.
How much maintenance do these require?
I'm not familiar with the maintenance of a deep injection well. A septic facility is pretty standard. Again, you see them, I mean, smaller versions, you see it for single family homes. The amount of maintenance depends on the amount of effluent being treated. You would typically see maintenance done on an annual basis, roughly in that time frame.
What would happen if the system would stop working?
So depending on the system that is chosen, for example, again, I'm familiar with disposal fields. There's actually a backup field that is set up. So when you design a septic system, you have your primary septic field and then your backup field. So if something were to happen to the original field, you can still treat your septic through we'll call it backup disposal field while you're getting repairs done. I would imagine that it's very similar for a deep injection well, but I'm not familiar.
So there could be a possibility that there would be 2 deep injection wells.
Potentially, again, I did not do the design, but I will say it's very standard for individual sanitary disposal systems that have some sort of redundancy designed in there.
Do you know if these types of systems are typically built within 600 feet of a river like the Wild and Scenic Musconetcong River?
I can't comment on a deep injection well, but septic systems and disposal fields, as well as their other components such as septic tanks, do have minimum separations from various facilities, water courses, buildings, property lines, etc. The applicant will comply with those setbacks.
Are sanitary injection wells recommended for karst topology, where drainage of thousands of gallons a day dispersed into a small area can cause dissolution of the rock, contamination of the groundwater, and create sinkholes and subsidence?
Anything specific to the design of a deep injection well, I unfortunately cannot answer your question.
Quick question. The clarification, a septic is reviewed and approved by what agency?
So it depends on the size of the facility. Our facility is, we'll call it in between. So anything under 2,000 gallons a day is actually done on the local level with the County Board of Health. Septic system.
Anything over 2,000,
Yes, it was done at the DEP level.
what's the size of the septic system proposed here?
So the final gallonage is going to be determined, but it's somewhere between 5,000 and I forgot the threshold for the permit that we have. Don't quote me on this, somewhere between 5 and 20,000 gallons, probably towards the smaller end.
So this septic system would be subject to review and approval by the NJDEP, correct?
Correct,
How about a deep injection well?
both.
Okay, sorry, keep on going.
When you say 5 to 20,000 gallons, is that per day, per month?
It'll be per day and the calculation is done based on a number of employees. We can estimate the number of employees typically, with the final tenant determined, you could get a better idea of flow. That's why it's in flow. This depends on the number of employees is the calculation, how that stays.
So with 20,000, up to 20,000 gallons being dumped into the city, the local system, what assurance can we get, given that effluent will not migrate into the local aquifer?
Again, things related to a deep injection well, I cannot answer, unfortunately. I apologize, I'm trying to. But I'm not familiar with the deep injection well design.
And then I would ask, if something like that did happen, because it happened to my grandparents when something, a typical thing. What happens to the people with the local wells?
Don't ask us. He's the witness.
Okay.
He wants to know if either the septic or the deep injection well, I'm not gonna say failed, but caused pollution of a neighboring well.
Who's responsible?
Who's responsible?
And I don't want to speculate to that kind of situation, but obviously if there was a fault in the septic system for our property that caused damage to another property, it would be the responsibility of the applicant to rectify that situation. It's obviously not anticipated to happen because of the redundancies that are typically involved in the design of an individual disposal system. But if something were to happen, yes, it would be the applicant's responsibility.
Okay. Thank you. Next. Identify yourself for the record.
Idria Connect, ID,
ID,
RIA,
RIA.
last name is Connect, KN, ECHT, and yes, I'm a resident.
Okay, thank you.
Is the proposal to have only one access driveway for the Tinsley?
Yes, there is one driveway accessing the site.
If there's a fire at the site and this driveway is blocked, like there's a car accident or a tree falls on it, couldn't that, wouldn't that be a big threat to public health and safety?
Again, I mean, these are hypothetical situations. A fire truck could just drive over the curb and just get back onto the driveway if the immediate driveway intersection was blocked.
The DOT response letter is requiring a bifurcated driveway. Would that reduce the risk of site access during an emergency?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
The DOT response letter is requiring a bifurcated driveway. Would a bifurcated driveway reduce the risk of site access during an emergency?
I'm going to defer to our traffic engineer regarding that, but if I understand the question properly, they would like a full pork chop to create two separate curb cuts rather than one singular curb cut. So if anything, that would actually limit mobility, but
to the west of the proposed development, there's a manufacturing facility that's 160,000 square feet. Do you agree this is only slightly smaller than the Tinsley?
I'm sorry, are you referring to the pharmaceutical facility?
Yes,
What did you say the size was?
it's 160,000 square feet. So do you agree this is slightly smaller than the Tinsley?
Yes.
This site, Cuba, is served by a driveway that's approximately 32 feet wide. The Tinsley proposal it has a 45-foot driveway. Cuba operates just fine with 32 feet. So why does the Tinsley need a 45-foot driveway?
And these are questions that our traffic engineer will address. We have submitted vehicle maneuvering exhibits to the board and they were uploaded to the public for their review, indicating the truck movements at the driveway and why we believe that driveway cut is necessary. I can't speak to another development's design or curb cut. Maybe they use a smaller truck. It could be any number of reasons. or maybe it doesn't work and they drive out into the other lane. The driveway as designed by our traffic engineer is set so that two tractor trailers can pass one another without impacting each other. I don't know if I could say the same for the pharmaceutical driveway.
Let's ask Mr. LaFarge, are you gonna have the traffic engineer at some point testify or not?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna suggest
Mhm.
you hold them to the traffic engineer.
At the October hearing, you testified the applicant retracted their prior agreement for having a gate on the proposed facility. Isn't it true that New Jersey regulations allow?
Hold on for a second. So. That was the movement. Yes, yeah. So I just wanted to clarify.
Sure.
Can you start that question again? Next, a little slower.
At the October hearing, you testified that the applicant retracted their prior agreement for having a gate on the proposed facility. Isn't it true that New Jersey regulations allow a gate on a non-residential driveway, provided it is located a certain distance back from the curb?
Well, before you answer, did the applicant, I thought the applicant said if the board wanted a gate, you'd give a gate. Now, I could be wrong. Is she right that you
We're not
get a gate off the
proposing,
table?
we restarted the hearing at the last hearing.
Right.
So any really accommodations or discussions, we're starting anew.
No, I
The
understand.
position of the applicant was we're not proposing a gate. We don't know that it's a safe, there's a safe location for it, but it's not a proposal as part of our plan.
Okay, but the question is if the board, as a condition, imposed the gate, that's something you'd have to consider, or that's something you would do? Let's ask the engineer.
So I actually did touch upon this at the last hearing. Our traffic engineer will definitely provide a lot more detail than I will. But for the board's reference, because this is a DOT highway, there's a requirement regarding installation of gates at driveways. If we were to install a gate, the DOT will require that we have to install a turnaround in front of the gate for the vehicles that typically use the driveway. In this case, that would mean installing a turnaround for a tractor trailer in the front yard, essentially installing a large amount of pavement for a tractor trailer to basically loop around and exit the site. We don't believe that is a good use of site design. It basically places a large amount of impervious in the buffer. And it also creates, honestly, it's something very unsightly at the site driveway.
Okay, so you're saying because of that, the applicant's position in this restarted application on October 9 is that no gates proposed. And if the board wanted one, the applicant might say no. Is that the position?
Yeah, our proposal doesn't include a gate.
And he just explained why.
Exactly, that's the reason why.
Okay.
So if there is, you're proposing that there isn't going to be a gate, what measures are the applicant taking to stop this facility from becoming a small truck stop after hours?
What she means is, not that it becomes an actual truck stop after hours, but after hours, people just driving in and unlawfully parking in the parking area. That's your
Sleeping.
question, correct?
Yes, that is my question.
Sleeping.
Understood. So I think this was touched upon maybe at the last hearing and the hearings that may not exist anymore. But the
Yeah, but
applicant, in terms of,
The last hearing, that's the record, so don't go back.
in terms of operational items, there has been signage obviously placed around the site stating that the tenant will have to, from an operational standpoint, control when the trucks arrive at the site, and that they would only be allowed to enter the site during operational hours. What's to stop a driver from entering anyway? Again, this becomes a tenant operational
So let me ask you a
question.
question. Your answer assumed that the location of the gate would be close to the state highway, correct? That's what you assumed she was asking you?
So it's not even just the distance, you need to have a turnaround, so even if.
No, I understand, but what if the gate were installed? Tell me how many feet?
Further up beyond just
You're talking
the,
near the
Further up
truck
beyond,
court.
near the existing parking area.
Yeah, so we've looked into it, like gates can be installed at the truck courtyard, for example,
Right.
as a way. But we wouldn't be able to limit the driveway neck from the roadway up until.
I understand, so you might have some trucks in the driveway, they'd have a big problem with backing out. That probably would be an incentive for them not to do it once they did it once, right?
I can't comment on truck driving, unfortunately.
Okay, so one of the possible measures you could do is install the gate further up near the, what did you say, the truck court? The truck court. That's a potential measure, yes?
Look, we can put it
I'm
anywhere we
asking
want.
him.
Right, I understand.
Not asking you,
Well,
that
then I
a
object to the
potential measure?
question because I think he answered that
He
question
did.
already. We may have to provide some additional measures
Is the,
We'll have
an
to take a
additional
look.
measure you could provide is putting a gate near the truck?
It may be possible to install, but we have to again look at the ability for a truck to turn itself around should it drive up the driveway and the facility is closed.
That's a potential method.
That's a potential method. So if there is no gate, you're saying that the security, any security, any enforcement would be a sign? That it would be dependent on the tenant to chase trucks
I
out?
won't be specific. I'm really trying to answer every question from the public as best as I can.
Mhm.
This is an operational question. I testified to site engineering. I cannot state definitively what the future tenant or the applicant will do in terms of operations for how they're gonna handle trucks entering and leaving the
Put it
facility.
this way, I interpreted his answer as, that was his answer. He's an engineer
Okay,
though.
who
He's telling
would be
you
able
he's
to
an
answer
engineer.
that question?
Let's have Mr. Lepari, you have someone from operations that can discuss this or answer questions on this?
We don't have a tenant yet.
I understand.
So
you
how do we
understand.
have an operational tenant to tell you that if we don't have a tenant yet?
Someone on behalf of the landlord,
Here's what-
answer
here's
the
the
question
job.
whether they're willing to put a gate near the truck courtyard.
I
Yes or no?
stated it in the first hearing and then the last hearing, we were going to come back. We said, because of these questions, we have voluntarily said that we would come back with the tenant when the tenant is signed up to make sure that we can answer all these questions for everybody.
I just want to put something out there. In my opinion, if the board believes that in order to keep unauthorized trucks out at night from pulling into the site, that the board could require the applicant to address it now, and if the applicant says, I'm not going to address it now, the board could consider that when it's deliberating on whether or not to grant the application. So take it under advisement, do what you want with it, but if you wait on that one till you have a tenant, you might have a problem with getting an approval.
I'm not even sure if I'm following what you're suggesting, and I don't even know if it's appropriate that you're suggesting, to be perfectly honest with you.
The board's attorney, in my opinion, has
Is it a
suggested
legal opinion that you're providing, or just what you think is a good idea for the site?
this is because the applicant has to prove and the board has to find that there's adequate truck circulation
Correct.
and safety. If the board, in my opinion, can consider whether or not you have measures to keep unauthorized trucks out at night. If you don't want to address that until a tenancy review, you might be putting the application in peril because it's one of the 4 essential elements of a development.
I understand, but what you're asking now is we're talking about a gate, right? If we have to redesign the entire site. we
No,
wanna put a
no,
gate.
no, and no.
Okay, then be more
I'm
specific, 'cause
asking-
that's why I'm not following.
Right.
What are you suggesting?
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm asking, will you have a representative of the owner or the landlord, not a tenant, address with the engineer, you or somebody, so you could respond to the question? If the board wants to have some measure to keep unauthorized trucks out at night, and the board understands that there's an NJDOT requirement, and you can install a gate near the road without having to do a big turnaround, and the board might not want a big turnaround, but if the board might want you to consider putting the gate near the truck courtyard, who will you have to address that during this hearing and not putting it off to a tenant? And if you don't want to, you can say, we're not going to address it. And I'm just putting it out there. I don't want to say you were bamboozled, that in my opinion, that's a relevant issue for site plan review and approval.
You need a follow-up?
No.
So you're past the note, so I want to make sure.
No,
if the board
the-
do it, then you
The
can have
township
another
engineer,
follow-up.
the township engineer asked me 2 questions, which I think can wait for tenancy review, but the question I'm asking, in my opinion, does not have to wait if the board doesn't want it to wait. I don't know what they're gonna say, but I'm just putting it out there because I don't want you to say, oh my God, I had no idea you were gonna do that.
I appreciate the heads up. If the question's asked, I'll either answer it or I'll tell you what you said when I
She
can
asked the
answer.
question. I
She
want
asked
to
the
know
question
if you
about-
have someone, if you're gonna have someone answer it. Is someone on behalf of the landlord gonna answer her question about whether you would consider putting a gate near the truck courtyard?
That's, we're going back to the gate again.
Yeah,
We're not proposing a gate at this point.
I
in time.
understand.
It's a redesign of the site. So right now, we're not proposing to
Okay.
put a gate or redesign the site to accommodate a gate. If
That's
it's
the
required,
answer.
if you put a condition on, we'll have to address it at that point in time.
Just so you understand, the board, there's no obligation on the board to impose the condition to save your application if you can't satisfy one of the 4 essential elements of the development. the board is not obligated to say, oh, you know, you didn't satisfy the condition about.
I haven't heard a board member make a comment about it yet.
Any board
Just you,
members
John.
want to weigh in on this issue, because I don't want this to be me, and I don't want it just to be someone from the public that raised a question, and can board members weigh in, but maybe she's totally off base.
No, I don't think she is.
I agree.
I don't think she
I
is. It's illogical. Maybe it's a 24-hour security guard at the curb. I don't know.
Well, okay,
Where
but
it
the
says
question
who.
is not,
It's operation.
it's not gate.
Yeah,
It's now, what other measures all could we
That's
do?
what she asked, what measures will
Well,
be taken
I'm
to
trying
keep
to
on
answer her
upright
question,
conduct?
but you're restating all these different questions, John. It's making it very difficult for me to
I'm
respond. to.
asking you, who will you have to explain
I'll
what measures?
see if we have anybody, I'll let you know, but I don't have anybody right now. We all know the question. We heard the question, right?
I thought you
restated
didn't
it many
understand the
times.
question. You understand the question now?
I understood the question that she asked.
Okay. My question is, will you have a landlord or owner's representative answer it? You don't have to bring an expert in. Okay?
Right.
Okay.
I'll get you the answer to that before the end of the hearing. How about that?
That sounds
One way or
good.
the other.
I'm done, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, you know what? Mr. Lepari, the board planning expert wants to weigh in on this.
I think-
Okay, I just
so
wanna
I-
make sure, Kendra, you weren't here. Jim Kyle was here, so I have to swear you in. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're gonna give in this matter with the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I do.
You just heard this discussion, and you wanna say something?
So just so everybody's aware, I don't think this is just a tenant issue. I mean, there could be 5 to 10 tenants here. This is a site issue. So I think as it relates to the overall site plan design, yes, you can have the owner indicate whether they'd be willing to provide additional measures to help with reduction of any kind of overnight parking of trucks and what those measures might be. And if one of them is a gate, then yes, I think there's a site design that would have to change. So I think it's relevant to the application and not necessarily a tenancy use.
You said it a lot better than me. You could have saved a lot of time.
We very well could have. I understand that very clearly. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll take that under consideration. We'll get your response on that.
You identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, my first name is Eleanor, Eleanor.
Thank you.
My last name is Tessier, Tessier. And I'm Bloomsbury.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to focus on the alternative drive location. On your exhibit A3,
Okay, hold on. What alternative drive? There's an alternative drive shown on the
there's an
exhibit?
alternative drive proposed.
But there's only one driveway proposed to the site.
All right, well, let me look at these questions and we can see, we
Okay,
can dig in on that, okay?
okay, yeah.
So on exhibit A3, do you show the entire 100-foot limit of disturbance buffer in the area of the farmhouse and existing developments being demolished, disturbed, and regraded?
This one, A3 is the site rendering.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the site frontage buffer exhibit dated April 10, 2025. Can you get a?
Can you give us some direction on which exhibit that is?
Working on it.
Oh, never mind, we got it.
Then you're better than us, because we don't have it. I remember the exhibit. I see it in Kendra's laptop, but I want to get, there you go.
Yeah, that's it.
You want me to?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, no, it's center.
Should I repeat the question about this up?
Yes, if you don't want.
So, on exhibit A3, do you show the entire 100-foot limit of disturbance buffer in the area of the farmhouse
Yes,
and existing developments being demolished, disturbed, and regraded.
correct. So the limit, the 100-foot LOD limit is shown as a dashed line. It is labeled on the exhibit as well. The area around the existing farmhouse and those features to be regraded is shown in the purple hatch.
Uh-huh.
LOD is limit of disturbance?
Correct.
So would you agree this purple area of existing development is approximately 140 foot wide by your scale?
Get your scale out.
Unfortunately, do not have it this evening, but it's okay. It's probably closer to 160 feet measured along the property front.
In October, you testified regarding the disturbance buffer variance that, quote, you have to clear some of that and for woods to make way for the driveway, close quote. Doesn't the existing development area shown in purple already include an existing driveway for site access?
There is an existing driveway there today for the existing farmhouse. It is an undersized driveway that would not be suitable for the traffic for the proposed use. I testified previously. I'm thinking it was at the last hearing, but if not, I'll restate it again. There are NJDEP buffers associated with this property. There's something called a riparian zone, which is a stream buffer. It is a 300-foot buffer from the top of bank, and that encroaches into the project site. The DEP takes a stance that the inner 150-foot buffer, we cannot propose any new development for. That means, you know, if it's grass or lawn or woods, we can't go and put additional impervious there. Unfortunately, that inner 150-foot buffer encroaches into that area midway at the site. So we have located our site driveway further east, as shown in the red hatch on this exhibit.
So wouldn't improving the existing driveway within the 140 foot wide existing development area mean you don't need to make additional proposed
To
disturbances?
clarify, the existing driveway is an existing residential
How
driveway.
wide is the existing driveway?
Let me go, sorry, 1 second.
I like how you use your finger as a scale. I'm gonna try doing
The
it.
fingernail method.
Yeah.
The driveway is approximately 16 feet on here. So again, it's usually it's a residential driveway. It's made for really like a single car to drive up and drive down. For us to utilize that area for the site driveway for the proposed development, that driveway will have to be significantly widened, similar to the size that we're showing here. And again, that's introducing new impervious, new motor vehicle surfaces within the inner 150-foot riparian zone, which the DEP does not allow. So we have purposely slid our driveway outside of that restricted area.
Is the farmhouse part of the site at a slightly higher elevation than the proposed driveway location?
Yes, I mean, the farmhouse sits higher than the grade at the gutter of the proposed driveway, yes.
And is this farmhouse part of the site farther away from the intersection of Route 173 and the Bloomsbury to Asbury Road?
Yes, the farmhouse is located centrally along the property frontage. It is further away from that intersection than the proposed driveway location.
And is that farmhouse part of the site on a straighter stretch, a more straight
Can I
stretch?
say something? I'm gonna let you ask all your questions that you want. But I know that your questions go to, you believe that that should be the alternate driveway location. He's testified that the existing driveway there is 16 feet wide, and to widen it is not gonna be permitted by the NJDEP. So you're gonna have to get some expert to testify to the contrary, or we'll have to ask the township engineer if what he's saying is correct. If what he's saying is correct, that driveway, that existing driveway could be a much better location for a driveway. But if what he's saying is correct, and we'll ask the town, is what he's saying correct, our township engineer?
Can you repeat what you said
So
about
the
the?
Muscat, well, I'm gonna butcher the name, I apologize again.
Musconetcong.
Musconetcong River
Musconetcong.
is a category 1 waterway with a 300-foot riparian zone. The inner 150 feet of that 300-foot riparian zone is very limited in development. So we cannot add any new development within that inner 150-foot buffer area, which in this case encroaches along most of the site frontage, except for the very, probably about a quarter of the eastern part of the site. For reference, while the 300-foot buffer is not shown on here, you can see the 250-foot buffer roughly there for reference.
So my question is, his testimony, as I understood it, was that if they wanted to have the driveway entrance at the location of the existing 15-foot driveway, they would have to widen it. And his testimony is because it's in the inner,
150-foot riparian zone.
that the DEP would not allow any disturbance to widen it. Is that correct or incorrect? That's,
The driveways, as it exists right now, is it in the zone?
It is in the riparian zone, yeah.
15 feet wide.
15 feet wide, so,
It would have to be widened to how many feet?
Roughly the same dimensions as the proposed driveway as shown.
Which is about 45 feet?
Correct.
so what I believe is that he'd have to, submit that to the DEP. They approved it once for the 16 feet, and then maybe they can
Well,
approve it.
they probably did not approve it. That's a pre-existing non-conforming farmhouse from I don't know what year.
Oh, okay, so it goes back to
1800-ish.
Yeah,
what?
1800-ish.
yes, 1800s,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Yeah,
So,
well, the DEP is very strict about their.
right, so you agree with his opinion?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So the township engineer agrees that even if that location is a better location, it's not gonna get a DEP approval to make the driveway wide enough for them to use it for their intended purpose. So you can ask all those questions, but
All right, well, I just have a couple more, and we can determine if they're relevant or not. So, is the farmhouse part of the site less impacted by the flood hazard area than the proposed driveway?
No,
Okay.
they're both in the flood hazard area.
Okay, so compared to the proposed location, wouldn't the existing driveway location have better sightline safety, greater distance from the intersection with Asbury Road, and be less prone to flooding?
So the flooding question I've already answered is no. The rest I would defer to our traffic engineer. But again,
it's,
The
I'm
idea-
gonna weigh in. Let's assume that the answer is yes. That it's a better location.
Okay,
If the DEP's, if it's not approvable, where are we going with it? If the DEP won't approve to have that widened, you're gonna have to make some argument to the board when it's time for your testimony. But the board most likely, since its own engineer agrees with the applicant's engineer's opinion, unless you bring an engineer or bring an expert in to say that they're wrong, and the DEP would actually approve widening that, it's gonna be irrelevant. If you can bring an expert in to say that the DEP would approve widening that, then you got a relevant issue you talk to the board about.
duly noted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Jason has a question, something raising his hand.
A board member had a question?
Yeah, I think Jason, because I see his hand raised. Oh, no, no. It's fine.
Does the board member, no, you identify yourself for the record?
My name is Greg,
1G or 2Gs?
one on each end. Chesky, S. U. T. S. K. E.
Township or non-township?
Non-township. Non-township,
Okay, which township?
Alexandria.
Alexandria.
Mhm.
Okay,
My questions are about the stormwater runoff calculations. Are the stormwater runoff calculations listed on pages 8 and 9 of the stormwater report based on the 400?
Sorry, no, please continue.
Yeah, no, I thought you were, yeah, okay. Based on the 420 pages of HydroCAD hydrologic calculations in Appendix C.
Yeah, I mean, in general, the report body summarizes the calculations in the appendix of the report.
As illustration, can you briefly explain the first entry in table 8 from page 8, it says 38.04 cubic feet per second. Can you briefly explain that? The portion of existing farmland labeled E1P that drains to the western culvert under Route 73 under a 2-year storm. Can you just explain what that means?
Yeah, so table 8 on page 8 is a summary of the existing drainage conditions. You're referring to E1, which is point of interest 1, which is our western culvert to the Muscatine River. You want to know the specifics of the flow rate or?
No, he wants you to explain whatever is entered on that table.
38.04 is cubic feet per second.
Okay, and then what does that mean relative to the culvert? Or the,
I think this is a question related to the capacity, which we will have more information on. Is that where?
In other words, remember I asked him in the beginning? Did they do those measurements of the culvert? And they're not done with it yet. So to answer your question, he has to be done with that. He says they're gonna be ready to answer that question on December 11th. That's what he said. The next hearing continuation date.
okay, I guess my questions go to, where does that number come from?
So, sure. So the flow rates that we show in the summary table, so what our team has done is that we look at the survey that has been prepared and we create what is called drainage areas for the site. So we identify what we are calling POI or points of interest. In this particular case, it's the entrances to the 3 culverts along the site frontage. And we quantify the tributary area to those points of interest based on the type of land cover, time of concentration, and other parameters. There's calculation that's involved that equates to a certain flow rate during a certain storm event.
Okay, well, related to that, then, would you agree that curve number or listed in there sometimes as CN is a crucial endpoint to the HydroCAD calculations in that it represents runoff potential for a piece of land? The closer the number is to 100, the greater the potential for water runoff rather than to be absorbed into the ground.
Yes, that is the curve number is one of the parameters used in the calculation, yes.
Okay, so for the existing farmland that drains to the western culvert, what curve number was used?
So there's multiple types of land cover. You're gonna have to give me a moment to find a particular drainage area here.
Take your time.
Referring to, I'm gonna call it subcatchment, which is just a node for calculation, E1P, pervious drainage area to the western culverts. We are using, grass in good condition, a CN of 80, woods grass combination in good condition, a CN of 79, and fallow bare soil, a CN of 94.
What page of the report is that on?
So our appendices are not numbered, but it is the drainage area outline for subcatchment E-1-P.
Yeah, actually, I found it on page 147 of the document,
PDF.
of the document that was online.
Yeah, the PDF.
That's.
Yes.
What,
on the
what
PDF.
page did you find? 147?
147, that's right.
147 of the PDF.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so at 91, that indicates poor drainage with a high runoff potential.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. How is the CN determined?
There's a methodology there's a technical release 55 that outlines various types of land cover and their CN
Technical
values.
release 55 is from the NJDEP.
United States Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, most, as you pointed out, most of the farmland is being categorized as fallow bare soil. Wouldn't land use code 2100, so-called cropland and pasture land, be a more appropriate code given that this has been active farmland for many years and continues to be actively farmed?
I would have to review that land cover type. It's definitely not pasture land. It has been farmed for crops, yes. It's currently fallow at the moment.
I think it's got corn growing on it right now.
Okay, well,
But, okay, all right, and, yeah, we have looked at the public tax records that show that this has been, assessed as farmland for the last,
Can
at
I-
least
let me
the
just ask the
last 4
engineer-
years.
What would the difference be if it was classified as dirt or classified as, you know, cropland?
I don't have that table of various types of land cover in front of me.
No, but what would the difference practically? What's the practical difference?
I mean, I would have to see it. I can't imagine it's much. The entire site is classified as hydraulic soil group D, which is basically like a clay silty soil with a high runoff potential.
Can you, you're not gonna be able to do this tonight, so can you add this for December 11?
You just
I
want
have
to
a
know the
specific
CN
que-
value for that land cover?
I asked you the specific question, so it would be in a transcript for you when Mr. Lepari orders it. See what it's classified. Read his question about shouldn't it be classified as something else? And then be able to answer my question, assuming that it was, what's the practical difference? Does that change any of your calculations, your opinions, or anything like that?
I mean,
Don't take a guess at it now.
I'm not gonna guess. I'm simply gonna ask, does the gentleman have the table in front of him since he referenced the land use code?
Yeah,
Can you just walk up there and show them the table?
Yeah,
please?
yeah.
Save them some pain.
And it depends, now, you referenced the,
No, just show them the table.
yeah, okay.
No, I'm not.
You know, here's A, B, C, and D, and here is the, here's the cropland, so it varies, you know, it varies from 85 down to, well,
Yes.
down to 75 or
He's referring
65.
to the curve number would be 85, where we are currently utilizing
91.
91.
Okay, so the question is gonna be, if you used. You're asking them, shouldn't you use 85 and not 91?
Yes,
Okay, so. The first question is gonna be, should you use 85 and not 91? And the second question is gonna be, if yes, what is the practical result of that? As to your calculations, your opinion, et cetera.
We'll have to see if the land use is applicable, but the difference in curve number value between 91 and 85. I understand everyone's doing the math and they're saying 6, but like in terms of runoff potential, it's very small. I mean, we're talking about like, for example, the same type of land cover that the gentleman referenced. You have clay pasture farmland soil at 85, and you have well draining clean sand that you would find near like a Jersey Shore. That's 65, if I remember that number correctly. So, you know, there's a wide range there in the type of soil, but in the material, once you have a D soil and it's impervious, our geotech report that was submitted did, I don't even know how many test pits throughout the site, 50 to 100, and they all came back that the site does not drain water.
okay, so you referenced HSG type D.
Yes.
Okay, can you explain again what that is?
It's a hydraulic soil group. It is a parameter used to identify how well draining the soil is.
Right, now, what I find confusing is that on page 2 of the stormwater management report, down at the bottom, it is saying that the project site soils are 99.5% HSG group B. And on all the ones in your calculations, you have it listed as HSG group D.
That is correct, yes.
Can you
The soil
explain
maps
that?
that are utilized are based on a very large, wide-ranging thing. The soil maps are very, very old, and they're based on thousands of acres of land cover at a time, not something site-specific. The DEP allows us to reclassify the hydraulic soil group based on the number of stormwater tests that we've done. We have done extensive stormwater testing throughout the site, and the results are the site does not infiltrate water.
Okay. All right, so given that all 366 pages of the HydroCAD appendix use soil type D instead of soil type B, would you agree that the stormwater report is fundamentally flawed and invalid?
No, the calculations we believe are correct. It's based on hydraulic soil group D, which is based on the results of the geotechnical testing that was performed by Whitestone and recently submitted to the board. I will note that the applicant, based on the results of that study, has revised their stormwater design. That was the new design that was submitted in September. We removed any infiltration facilities. Trust me, the applicant would love to infiltrate stormwater. They cannot. The site will not allow it. So we revised our stormwater design based on the results of that soil testing.
Can I ask?
That's his answer. You can't ask the board anything at this
Okay,
point. Once
okay.
you get to testify again, if you have some special expertise, you might try to get yourself qualified as some sort of expert, but if you don't, you have to bring an expert if you disagree with his opinion on things.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Are we still sticking to the 3-minute rule or trying?
Yes, we're trying to, but the 3 minutes doesn't include the answers. It only includes the questions.
Just,
And
I wanted
he's
to,
got the timer going.
trying to make sure that we can try to get our next.
Township. My name is Polly Newbold, NEWB as in boy, OLD as in dog.
Okay, thank you.
And you said Greenwich?
Yes, she did.
Yes. Can you please, verify again what the groundwater flow direction is on the site? I know you did it last time, and I don't remember what you said.
Sure. The drainage for the site flows from north to south towards the river,
Towards Bloomsbury side,
towards the river.
as opposed to across, Bloomsbury Asbury Road. It flows towards the river the river bends there.
It flows towards the river.
Okay. Has any investigation been done to verify that the facilities, well or water tower will not draw on the same aquifer as the Bloomsbury residence well, or that their wells will not be adversely impacted by the facility's water needs?
The water tower is not a well. We are getting public water service through a water main extension. No wells are proposed on site.
I thought it was gonna be well and septic.
It is septic. There is public water available. We have confirmed with the utility provider. We have provided that will serve letter to the town as part of the submission previously. They are offering as part of an agreement between the developer to extend the water main down the road.
Can you please describe I believe you said there's part of the site is going to have a pervious paving system.
That is correct, yes.
Can you please describe what that's gonna be? And then how and where the stormwater runoff is gonna be
I
stored?
previously talked about the porous pavement at length in my prior testimony.
In October, correct?
Yes.
Were you here in October?
I was. I thought it was just discussed that it was gonna be pervious and not the warm.
Can you speak up so it's not just me?
Yeah, so there was discussion about ice treatment, salt on the road.
Right.
For the, and.
Right.
I didn't
Do
know.
you want him to describe what sheet of the plans show the impervious? Is that what you're asking?
I'm asking what the material is that's going to be.
Asphalt,
It's gonna be asphalt.
correct.
And where is the runoff going to be stored, and then where's it gonna be discharged?
Porous pavement system, there is stone underneath the porous pavement where it'll be stored and then released slowly.
And then at what depth is groundwater on the site?
Varies across the site. We have submitted a geotechnical report that outlines that in great detail. I will say that the
Range.
porous pavement system, as I previously testified to, because this is a similar question, is sitting in a large area filled well above the existing ground surface.
And then you said that this is being built on spec. If there are no tenants in it, who's gonna be responsible for the site after the facility is vacant?
I mean, the idea for the applicant certainly is to tenant the building and have it operational before.
It's gonna be owned by someone who's presumably gonna be the landlord, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so, Is the landlord gonna be responsible for maintaining the building if
An
there's no
operation
tenant
and
in it?
maintenance manual was submitted that indicates the current applicant as the responsible party for maintenance.
That's what she, that's,
Yeah, well, and also as to keep trucks off, because someone brought up a really good point before about trucks parking in there, and then that agency will also be responsible for making sure trucks don't park there overnight.
Again, operational question about trucks parking overnight.
Yeah.
Trucks are not permitted to park on forest paved area.
anything about trucks overnight,
Right.
it's not this witness. Okay, they're gonna figure out whether or not they're bringing someone to answer those questions.
The landlord will be the responsible party.
I'm sorry,
The landlord will be the
Oh, okay.
responsible party.
for all of that.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Identify yourself for the record.
Nicole, Nicole, Grasso, Grasso.
Township resident or non-township?
None.
Okay, where do you put?
I'm in Bridgeton Township, Pennsylvania, down river from where the Muscatine County discharges.
What township?
Bridgeton Township.
Are you with the Skyline Preservation Alliance? No, okay,
No, I just spend a lot of time in this area and
okay,
I'm a concerned citizen.
all right, Larry.
No, I didn't miss the name. I'm just taking my notes.
Nicole Grasso.
Thank you.
Okay, how many acres of new motor vehicle surface are being proposed?
$7.75 acres.
Okay, of new surface. Okay.
Yes.
Is it new motor vehicle surface or new impervious surface?
I believe the question was motor vehicle surface.
Yeah.
So yes.
7.75 acres of new motor vehicle surface,
Yes.
okay, surface.
Are you aware that the chemical 6-PPD quinone is a water soluble contaminant?
Hold on. You do that again. Because we have someone trying to,
I
she's not gonna
apologize.
know what you're gonna say.
Yeah, you don't want me to read the full name of it, trust me. Are you aware that the chemical 6-PPD quinone,
Quinone, how do you spell quinone?
Quinone,
Okay.
is a water soluble contaminant of emerging concern from tire wear particles responsible for the decimation of salmon in the Pacific Northwest and has also been shown to have significant acute toxicity on trout.
No.
I repeat that.
Or you can wait till your turn
Sure.
to testify and we'll see if you get that in or not.
Okay. Will the stormwater system be capable of removing contaminants that are dissolved in water from the proposed facility, such as antifreeze, windshield wash, de-icing chemicals, such as rock salt, polyaromatic hydrocarbons, for asphalt, from asphalt, and soluble heavy metals such as zinc and copper for tire wear?
The site complies with the major development stormwater requirements as outlined in the local and state
Right,
code.
we all know that. Are the substances she's asked for, are they gonna be filtered out by the system or not? It's a yes or no.
These systems are designed to remove total suspended solids.
Right, so the answer is no.
Depends, some of them are total suspended solids, but not the entire list.
And it's, again,
Yes, sir.
everyone should understand that there are certain regulations that they have to comply with.
Understood.
If they comply with those regulations, even if the board were to think that it would be a good thing,
Mhm.
that those things should not make it through,
Agreed.
in my opinion, they could not deny this application if they comply with regulations that don't keep those out. Just putting it out there, just like I didn't want Mr. Lepari to have a surprise, I don't want you to have a surprise either,
I understand.
okay?
Okay, so then the system removes total suspended solids. But anything that is dissolved, I guess my next question was around eliminating the contaminants, but since the contaminants are not regulated. Then
If a
they,
contaminant is not regulated, and it's not a suspended solid, will the system filter it out?
The systems are rated outside of the required water quality to remove things like nitrates and phosphates, depending on the BNP. I do not know the specific percentages for those BNPs, but there is additional water quality provided other than what is strictly required by code.
But as to her specific substances, you don't know, correct?
I do not.
Okay.
Does Stonefield have any independent testing data to show the removal efficiency of soluble chemical contaminants? Did you have to do that?
No.
Did you know that copper is one of the most toxic elements to aquatic species such as trout at levels commonly seen in parking lot runoff?
It's not aware now.
And copper is a soluble metal.
Are you aware that copper is a soluble metal?
We don't, yeah, let's let her ask the questions, John.
No, I mean, I want her testifying, it's not the time to testify.
Right, then we can tell her it's not the time to testify.
So you object?
Yes. Well, there was no question pending. I didn't think I had.
Thank you.
All right, can I ask a couple of other different questions?
30 seconds.
40 seconds left.
Okay, given that lot 12 is all karst geology comprising of cracked bedrock, and sinkholes and voids. Is there any way to know that chemicals, in the stormwater won't contaminate the local groundwater?
Refer to the geotech, as I testified before, they did quite a number of tests that demonstrate that the soil does not hurt.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Or are they going to the next witness? Nope, there's someone else.
Michael Amendola, Amendola.
Okay, and
6 Ray Township.
okay,
My concern is with
not concerned, question.
sorry, my question is regarding.
Yeah, are you with the Highlands, the Skylands?
No,
Okay,
no, just an avid trout fisherman.
okay,
The stormwater report, page 11, says the surface runoff is gonna be treated, to remove 96% of the total solids. And it mentions the EcoStream biofilter, which is only certified to provide 80% removal. How's the 96% reduction being achieved?
The calculation performed, it's outlined in the BMP manual. When you have two 80% removal devices, the average works out to 96%.
So what is the second mode of filtration?
Bioretention basin.
And one would presume that if the first filtration is going to remove the large undissolved particles, that the small ones are gonna get through that first one. What evidence is there that the small ones are not gonna get through the second?
And these strategies have been certified by the DEP that if installed correctly, they provide 80% total solids removal.
is this in the NJDEP BMP manual?
Yes.
Okay, so explain that.
What
It's
specifically?
the NJDEP made that determination, not you, is that correct?
Correct, yes.
Well, as I understand it, the two water treatment systems in series cannot be used according to the DEP. In fact, it says the EcoStream cannot be used in series with another MTD or a media filter such as a sand filter to achieve an enhanced removal rate for total suspended solids. And if you look at page 2, bullet 3 of the NJDEP letter dated February 6th and its certification. So is that being used in series? That bioretention basin? And what comes first?
You are incorrect. The statement, as you quoted, is an MTD. An MTD is a manufactured treatment device like another EcoStream. So you
Okay.
can't take an EcoStream unit, dump it into another EcoStream unit, and get 96%. We are proposing an EcoStream unit discharging into a bioretention basin. It is not a sand filter, it's a vegetative media. It's been accepted by the DEP, done this numerous times. It is qualified for 96% TSS.
Okay, so where are the studies that show that the bioretention basin following the ecosystem filtration achieves that number?
The DEP has certified a bioretention basin designed in accordance with the BMP manual and certified for 80% TSS. That, when paired with another 80% TSS unit, provides 96% water quality.
You identify yourself for the record.
Yes, my name is Bjorn. First name is Bjorn, Bjorn. Last name is Langree, Langree.
Thank you. Resident of
Bloomsbury.
Bloomsbury. Okay.
Okay, thanks. Is it the position of the developer to abide by all requests made by the Upper Delaware Soil Conservation District, including those requests that may be made upon review, and possibly in addition to what's shown on the plans?
Okay, are you asking, will they comply with requests or will they comply with conditions of an approval?
Will they, so there's going to be a review, presumably by the Upper Delaware Soil Conservation District.
Okay.
And they're gonna have a response of what they want, and then is the applicant proposing to comply with all of those requests?
Correct, yes. The applicant needs a plan certification from the Soil Conservation District. It's the typical condition of approval from this board that we will seek that approval. Should they make review comments, the applicant will comply with that.
Want to get that on record, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna quote from page 5 of the Stormwater Management Report, which describes the site's existing drainage areas.
Quote slowly.
Okay, quoting slowly. Area E3 comprises the southeastern region in which the runoff over land flows southward and into the existing concrete head wall pipe within the southeastern corner of the frontage. All inflow areas travel via the pipe conveyance and discharge into the river. All right, however, the site plans, the C3 existing site plans indicate that east and center pipes are buried. So how can the site discharge to the river through buried pipes?
We would have to, so part of this all goes back to pipe survey and culvert capacity. Our surveyor is gonna go out there. They indicate buried because sometimes there's silt that accumulates at the pipe. This is a farm field. You can imagine there's some
Let me
soil.
ask you this, would you rather wait until December 11th to answer this, or do you want to keep on answering this and have to answer it again on December 11th?
We will wait until December 11th.
So you're gonna ask that question again, December 11th.
Okay, I'll be back.
Circle it, don't forget.
Thank you. Wow, okay then, so why is there, the plans say the pipes are buried. Why is there no note on the plans as excavate the buried pipes?
I mean, we could add a note. Typically, the procedure is like prior to construction, you would flush out and the pipes. So we could add a note to the plans that states that.
Are you going to do that?
Yes.
Okay, so there'll be a change to, and so the
You're gonna add a
contractor
note
knows.
to the plan stating what, you're gonna flush out all pipes?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay. Would it also be appropriate to have a note in the stormwater operations and maintenance manual stating that these important culverts should be maintained?
Again, the maintenance of the culvert is the entrances that are on the private land can be maintained by the property owner. But as they cross into the public right of way, you know, at that point it becomes maintenance of public agency. But yes, maintenance is important. There's an operation and maintenance manual, and part of it includes inspection of stormwater conveyance systems.
And, okay, so there's a lot of flow associated with 12.7 acres of impervious territory. So why wouldn't it be incumbent upon the owner of that development to make sure those culverts are clear and conveying the water the way it should be conveyed?
So it's in the interest for the owner to do that, so they will likely do that, and they can certainly maintain the entrance to that. I'll also note that again, this is a stormwater management plan that needs to comply with the state and local regulations regarding quantity of flow leaving the site. At all three locations identified, the applicant is sending less flow than what goes there today.
So we're gonna have a conversation about, the flow, the flow that's going through the buried culverts. It's less than what's there today through the buried culverts. That's what you're saying.
I'm
I
sorry.
just wanna get you on record clear about that.
So again, there is a point where all the water flows and it collects and pools at the entrance to the culvert. If the culvert is impacted through improper maintenance with silt or sediment, it would simply overflow into the road and still continue on the same way to the river.
Is it impossible for the site to currently absorb all the rainwater that falls on it? I mean, 0% impervious coverage. We talked about the silt loam soil.
What is your question?
Is it possible for the site to absorb all the rainwater that falls on it?
No.
They said
Okay. Got it.
it doesn't infiltrate.
All right, on record saying no, I got it.
Okay,
Um,
I just want to clarify this. I don't want
Yeah.
to drag this out. You said all rainwater. All land cover absorbs some amount of water before its sheets run off.
Mhm.
So it's not absorbing every single drop of rain from every rainstorm. Not even woods in good condition does that. There's always some version of runoff that is generated.
Okay,
Okay, your time's up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just beg one more, please, one more.
Did you
Pass
technical
it
report
to
of it?
somebody else. Give it to
Yeah,
someone else.
all right.
I'm Eric Reinaldson,
Spell that last name, please.
BRYNILDSEN.
And your first name is ERIC?
Okay,
Okay, Eric's with a K, 1K,
1K,
okay, and you're a resident of which municipality?
Bloomsbury. Just have a quick question, another quick question about the test. Are you aware that trout are very sensitive to water temperature?
Not familiar with trout, no.
Everybody, he's not familiar with trout, so if you come up, you're just gonna waste your time if you ask any trout related questions.
Well, the rest of that question is that, and that water above 68 degrees Fahrenheit is,
Okay, listen, if you wanna try to testify about that, but you can try to testify about it, but
no problem.
most likely, I'm gonna be giving the board advice that the impact on trout, if they comply with the regulations, is irrelevant. Just, again, giving you a heads up about it, and I don't want anyone surprised.
Okay, well, are you aware that the New Jersey Regulation 781.2 defines quote pollutant to include quote thermal waste?
I'm gonna object. I don't know that there's a proper
Are
legal
you
citation.
talking about 7:8-1.2, which is a DEP
Yes.
DEP regulation?
Yes.
And what's your question? Is he aware that that says what?
That it defines pollutant to include thermal waste.
Are you aware?
I don't have the code in front of me. I can't look at it, so I'm not aware.
Okay. Does Stonefield have any assurance that a rain shower on hot summer parking lot asphalt is not going to raise river temperature in the Musconetcong?
Again, the stormwater design is not factoring in thermal impact. I will say, again, the system provides a large amount of extended detention where rainwater is stored on site in vegetative areas where it would cool down. What that temperature is when it discharges into the river, I could not tell you.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next? Or are we going to the next witness?
Where should I stand, up here?
Right up here.
Okay.
Where everyone's been standing.
Thank you.
Can you identify yourself for the record?
John Terzini,
Spell it slowly, last name.
TER
TER
SIG
SIG
NI G is silent,
and G is silent, okay.
not in Greenwich.
What, what about that? What municipality do you reside in?
Bloomsbury.
Bloomsbury, okay. You're good to, go ahead with your question.
Thank you. You have some questions about, dirt and rock. My primary concern, I'm just gonna break it down. Just curious, how many soil borings have, been performed on the site and what were the outcomes?
I don't have the exact number. The geotech report was submitted to the town and uploaded to the town website.
So does the geotech report that's uploaded to the township website give an indication of all the soil boring locations?
In that round of testing, yes. The other round of testing was already submitted previously.
Okay, and is that the earlier one also on the township
It should all
website?
be on there. They were all submitted to the
Okay, so if
website.
you looked at both of the geotech reports that are presumably on the township website, could you count up? If you wanted to
Yes.
see, he could see how many soil borings and he could see the locations?
Yes.
I was going to, yeah. Yeah, is there a geotech report and, where is it?
Up, like, when you were talking with him, he said they're both up on the township website.
Oh, okay.
We cannot find that second geotech report. It's not online, it's not there.
Okay.
Hold on.
They were submitted to our website person, so I'll have to follow up with her.
Follow up with her. What are the dates on the two geotech reports, just so we do a good
I
follow
don't
up?
know the new one, the old one. I think I already read into the record previously.
Give us a date anyway. I think you did also, but this, I don't wanna rely on
June
that.
21st, 2023.
June 21st, 2023 was the first one. What's the date of the second one?
It was done this year, circa, the testing was done in May. I imagine the report has a date of September or something.
Okay, that's the one we have to follow up on.
September,
If
okay.
it's not on their website, make sure it gets on the website.
Absolutely.
It's a 43-acre property. I mean, is there enough there to, provide accurate insight into the type of earth that's on this property? I mean,
Yes.
how do you measure that? Like, that it's
I'm
enough?
not the geotechnical consultant. They have worked with the applicant. I will say that quite a bit of tests have been done, performed. Part of it for stormwater, part of it for septic, part of it just for general design.
Okay. At what depth was the rock found below the surface?
Again, I don't have the specifics of the new report. I believe I already read into the record from someone else's prior question that rock can be found as shallow as 4 feet in some areas.
Every time I drive by there, I see this elevation slope. I was curious what the difference between the front and the rear of that property is. I mean,
Yeah, I don't even think the geotech report in this.
it slopes down right into the,
About 105 feet of grade change.
Okay. And, how much dirt or how much fill will be needed at the front of this building to kind of level this property, to make it level?
It's not the entire property, it's the development footprint. It depends on the location. I would say fill is in the range of 10, 15 feet, something like that. It could be more in some areas, less in others.
I just did an informal poll. None of the board professionals have a copy of any geotech report data for 2025.
It was.
We have stormwater report
We'll double check it.
dated September 18th, 2025. So I have a feeling, just a guess, the new report has not been submitted. So we'll follow up, but can you follow up?
Yes.
I have a general idea what excavation is, but I was curious as what depth of this
Any
excavation?
board members in their packages, I know you have the stormwater, any board members have a new geodeck report dated 2025? No, okay.
Yeah, I was curious as to the depth of the excavation, to put this, I guess I have the dimensions of the building is 855 by 210 feet. Is that enough for parking and truck trailer stalls and all of that sort of thing? What type of excavation is needed, if you could just describe it generally?
And this is a means and methods construction question. I mean, typical excavation equipment, I imagine will be used. I read the quote previously about standard excavation equipment from a contractor being used. Could rock blasting be used to expedite the process? Yes, but at this time, it's yet to be determined.
Can you describe the size, like the width and depth of the footings that are required for this building? It's a big building.
Again, I'm not the geotech engineer. I didn't do any structural design for this building.
Is it on the plans?
It is not.
It is not on the plans, okay. Um. The logic kind of is that the smaller the building, and you need a smaller foundation and footing sizes, than, this very large building, and therefore less.
Wait, but would the footings be in the architectural plans?
No, structural design is something that's typically done during the building permit process, like structural design to that extent where you're looking at footings and foundation design is not typically done at the board level.
I just put another one out there, this one's to you. I don't know how the board grants final site plan, I can understand preliminary site plan approval, which the MLUL says only has to be in tentative form for discussion purposes, like we're having tonight. But final site plans, you need all the details.
We need details of the site. We don't need all construction details. We don't need MEP. We don't need electrical. We don't need all of this and plumbing.
I believe
There are a lot of things that are under the purview of the building
All I'm
department.
gonna tell you is for at least from my boards. I've been advising them that for final site plan approval, at least you need. The details that the building's not gonna fall down. Which would include footings, but you can talk about that with me offline, but keep
Will
on
do.
going, I'm just giving you.
Yes, we'll do. We'll definitely have that conversation.
Okay,
This might be a dumb question by me, but have you thought of a series of smaller buildings to kind of replace this? Maybe with a similar, or different use, some multi-level complex across the site? That wouldn't require such intense excavation. I mean, have you thought of anything about that?
No, we have not.
Okay, time's up.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you for the time.
appreciate it. Yeah,
Okay, so the last electronic submission we had dated September 18th did not have a.
I can't open the attachment, but
There was a submission that was issued in October that contains it, not the September submission packet, the one that was submitted recently in October. It included truck turning diagrams, additional traffic documents, and the geotechnical report.
that's not in this packet.
I'm looking.
We're gonna check our email, but we don't have anything from October. Can you identify yourself for the record?
Yes, Kimberly Wenzel, Wentzel.
And where do you reside?
Bloomsbury.
Bloomsbury. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
We know this property is in the ROM zone. Other than light manufacturing, what other permitted uses are allowed within the zone?
I don't have the zoning code in front of me to tell you other permitted uses, just that our application as proposed is a permitted use.
So would a office building be able to be built on this site?
Again, I don't have a list of the other permitted uses, so I couldn't tell you.
But I just want to make something clear. The attorney can stand up if he wants. The attorney can't tell the applicant, can't tell a witness what to say, but there's nothing whatsoever wrong with the attorney standing next to a witness.
Thank you.
Keep on going.
I didn't realize I was,
No, a member of the public came up, which they shouldn't have done, but I just wanted, for the record, just make it clear.
I'm not providing any assistance to the witness.
I've been watching.
Well, there's not much I can add to what he's saying.
Yeah.
So far you have not claimed what other permitted uses can be in the ROM zone.
The applicant is here for a light industrial facility. They're not
Yeah,
here
I'll tell you
for
what,
anything.
hold up for a second. Can we just have our planner just put this issue away, or do you not want her to say anything?
If she wants to tell, what she's gonna read the
Permitted
definition?
use.
Yeah, please.
Administrative, business, professional, executive office buildings, scientific or research laboratory, light manufacturing, telephone exchange or public utility office building or substation serving the immediate area, agricultural activities, planned office and or industrial parks on tracts of less than, of at least 50 acres, childcare centers, renewable energy facility.
And the reason I had her do that is because he's not a planner. He wouldn't be expected to know he's an engineer, but that answers your question.
Okay, so, I guess you didn't study any feasibility for a office building,
Again, I represent the board, but again,
not a, okay.
he's an engineer, but they would never do that.
He testified, we're proposing a light manufacturing building.
Right.
The parking. We have, 372 required parking spaces, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
So that is 301 car parking spaces, 34 van parking spaces, and 37 EV parking spaces.
Could you repeat that? I'm sorry.
301 car spaces,
Mhm.
34 van, and then the 37 EV spaces.
I mean, it's close enough. I have 300 standard parking spaces, 35 van, and 36 EV.
Okay, what was the requirement for loading docks?
I have to go to our plans. I don't know if there is a specific requirement for loading docks.
It was previously testified, back in the
Yeah,
summertime.
but this thing started up in October. Anything that happened before October, in terms of testimony, is out. This record started up, so you can ask him, because he has not been testified. Is there a requirement for a certain minimum number of loading docks? That's her question.
No.
And there, under the ordinance, he says there is no
There
requirement.
is not, okay. Is there a township requirement for trailer stalls?
No.
And there are how many trailer stalls proposed on site?
74.
And by the, for the record, how many loading docks are now proposed?
32.
32 loading docks, 74 trailer stalls. Proposed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
How would you categorize a trailer stall? Is that a parking space or a loading space?
It's an operational question. I believe there will be testimony from our traffic engineer on how those are utilized.
So would you agree that there are 32 loading docks and 74 trailer stalls that are not required by the town ordinance? For a light industrial building?
Yes, I'll object to the form of the question.
Okay, he already said yes.
Right, if we understood it correct. It's like a double negative, but that's okay.
I'm going.
So there are 32 loading docks and 74 trailing stalls that are not required. Can you tell us how much coverage those spots take up on the site?
I'll clarify, just because there's not a municipal requirement, doesn't mean that there's not a requirement from an operational standpoint to have these facilities there.
It's a requirement for a light industrial building.
Yes. Which is very common for a light industrial building to manufacture materials and they load them onto trailers and ship them elsewhere and raw materials are shipped in.
And light manufacturing building is not the only permitted use on this site.
It's already been covered, but no.
Ken? I think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next? Or are we going to the next witness? Someone's coming up.
My name is Giannis Leipens.
Spell the first and last name.
Giannis, Janis.
J-
Janis.
Janis.
Johann in German, John in English, and whatever language you want.
And how do you spell your
Last
name?
name Leipens, Liepins.
Fast.
Liepins.
Liepins. Okay, you're a resident of which municipality?
I lived on 38 Asbury Broadway
We're
Road.
not asking you for
Franklin
your
Township.
address. We don't want your address, we just wanna know what municipality you live in.
Well, Broadway, New Jersey.
Franklin.
Is that
Franklin Township? Franklin Township?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
I'm your neighbor.
Not mine. but that's-
Well, here, my concern is,
No concerns, questions.
no, I have no question, I have
You have
concern,
no question.
quality of life.
No, listen to me.
I'm listening.
You have no you can't
I have no
testify
concern.
about your concerns right now. It's not the right
Okay,
time
then
for it.
what-
You have your concerns after everyone asks questions
Great,
of
I
this
will-
witness, and
I will do
after
that.
all the witnesses
I
are
will
done,
obey.
then you'll get your chance to
I
give
will
your
obey,
concerns.
I serve military, I shall obey you.
Anyone else have questions? Let me identify yourself for the record.
Mark with a K,
Thank you.
Carrick, Carrick.
Thank you. And you're a resident of?
Bloomsbury.
Thank you very much. That's kind of back there in Bloomsbury. too.
That was actually the other one.
I gotta say it
So is it
to him.
potential tenants will have to be pre-approved by this board? Is that
Just
correct?
for the record, what they said on October 9th was they started out their presentation by saying, we will accept a condition on any approval that they would have to apply to the board to review and confirm that every prospective tenant has a light industrial use. And that application will be on notice in the newspaper and to all 200 footers. And what to be reviewed will be hours of operation, traffic generation, et cetera. That's what they said. Is that what you said?
I don't know if that was that specific, but yes, they will come back and we will confirm that the permitted use is light industrial.
My notes actually
Or
say
some
that
other
specific.
permitted, some other permitted use, yes.
So what enforcement mechanisms would be put into place to ensure that only permitted uses?
That's a township enforcement mechanism by ordinance, and that's not up for us to, how the town enforces their
Well, you
rules.
could ask them, did they have any suggestions on how that would be enforced? You could ask them that
Do
question.
you have any suggestions on how that would be enforced?
This is not necessarily an engineering question, but I will respond.
Right, it's not an engineering question, it's for the attorney.
We will state on the record that we will conform to the law of the township of Greenwich.
So aside from any pre-approval, would a prospective tenant give up their right to apply for a use variance?
No,
So that cannot happen.
Well, the only way it could happen is if they agreed to make that a condition. But if the board, in my opinion, could not impose that as a condition unless the applicant said, we're willing to have that as a condition, because unless the applicant's willing to do that, under the municipal land use law, everyone has the right to apply for a use variance.
So with that in mind, would you agree that the dimensions and the design of the proposed building make it particularly well suited for use as a warehouse or for warehouse-like activity?
I'm going to object. First of all, it's speculative. Second of all, any details of the building would be better asked of the architect. And third, we've already testified and provided numerous assertions and representations that we are seeking a light manufacturing building, not a warehouse.
Right, you said not a warehouse, but would you accept the condition that no one could apply for a use variance for a warehouse?
No,
You will not accept that as a condition?
no, anybody can make an application in any point in the future.
So prior precedent would make it difficult for a judge
Hold
to
on.
deny such a
Hold on for a
variance.
second. You know what? This is an argument to make to the board, not a question for this engineer. You make that argument to the board when it's time to make, sworn statements.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Not relevant, John.
I'm not
It's
saying.
not relevant. It's
I
not for
haven't
this
said it's
application.
saying-
I'm here to discuss this application,
Yep.
or what could happen in the future
Yep.
in 30
No,
years.
I've marked down that
50 years or otherwise.
I've marked down your comment that you will not agree to consent.
Yeah,
to
that's
a condition
exactly,
saying
that's
that
exactly
you-
what I
that no
said.
one will apply for a use
No one
variance
asked
for a
me,
warehouse.
no one, there's been no discussion about it, John. There's been no discussion about it, no suggestion by the board. And again, I don't know that I have the right to do such a thing.
Now, you certainly have the right to do it, but I'm not asking,
I don't-
I'm just writing down what you
You
said,
can write it down.
and it's in the transcript.
I said it, so of course it's in the transcript, yes.
In the transcript, right? Oh, yeah.
That's what the transcript is for, we all know. that. Let's keep it going.
Hold on, I gotta finish writing my note about this, make sure I have it right.
John, I'd like to, if you could just maybe stop with the ad-libbing, I think you're.
I'm not ad-libbing, I'm
Well,
trying to write
you're
you.
trying to make, you're suggesting by you keeping talking about a very, you know, a comment that has nothing to do with the application. As if it's something that has to do with this application that's before this board.
You said that you stated in the beginning that it was for a light industrial and you would
Correct.
not apply for a warehouse. That's what you stated.
That's exactly what we're doing.
And then I followed up with the question, would you agree to a condition that no one would apply for a use variance for a
How am I
warehouse?
gonna,
You
how
said
am I gonna
no.
make that condition to some unknown person in the future? But they can't, they're not gonna file an application before this
But
board.
the owner has to consent to the application. The condition would be the owner's not gonna consent to someone applying for a use variance.
But we can continue.
I have to finish writing the thing down. You keep on interrupting me.
I think it's inappropriate, John.
Okay, got it. Can you identify yourself for the record?
My name is Edmund Evanowski.
Spell both please slowly.
First name Edmund, E-D-M-U-N-D.
Okay.
Last name's Evanowski, E-V-A-N-O-W-S-K-I.
Thank you. A resident of,
Pillsbury.
got it. Thank you.
I have some questions on drive slope and noise. In October, you testified that regarding the Tinsley, a large amount of plantings could be used as noise abatement. What authoritative data can you provide to support your testimony?
None, I'm not an acoustics expert.
What is the maximum slope of the drive?
9%.
Last time you said it was gonna be 8 and 10%.
9% is less than 10%.
So that's the maximum. It's not
It's,
exactly.
it has designed the slope average 9% in the driveway.
Okay.
9% average. Yes, the maximum. What's the maximum?
Without getting out, like, looking at every specific point, it's in the range of 9%. The maximum, I could not tell you all that.
Well, I'm a cyclist and I ride on slopes a lot. And if I ride on a.
Listen, are you ready for this? He says he's not gonna look on the plan to give you the answer.
Okay, would a truck need to shift gears going up and down this driveway slope?
I'm not familiar with how trucks will drive.
Wouldn't that be for the traffic expert?
Yes. it would.
Okay.
Does the driveway face straight downhill toward 173 and the borough of Bloomsbury?
Can you repeat that?
Does the driveway face straight downhill toward 173 and the borough of Bloomsbury?
The face is 173, yes.
Will that driveway alignment focus the noise of the trucks toward the residents of Bloomsbury?
And I'm not an acoustics expert.
Are there any provisions on the plan for limiting the use of engine brakes going down the drive?
No.
Will the applicant be willing to amend the plan to add a sign to limit the use of engine brakes?
I would have to talk to the applicant. I'm not sure.
I think it's also more appropriate for a traffic engineer to be able to opine on whether or not that would be appropriate for this particular location.
Is there an ordinance in Greenwich for engine brake that would rule an ordinance against engine brake?
If you're asking this particular witness, do you know the answer?
No.
The township engineer's third technical review, point 30, asked testimony of anticipated noise generation. If you're not an acoustic expert, how is the applicant planning to address this?
Again, I can simply say I'm not the acoustics expert.
Will an acoustics expert be testifying at some point?
I'm not sure. I'd have to talk with the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have questions for this witness? Going once, going twice. Up.
We got another one.
You almost got this old. You want to identify yourself for the record?
Dana, Dana, Bunce, B like boy, UNCE.
And you're a resident of?
Bloomsburg.
Bloomsburg.
My questions are about the guide rail. The detail on sheet C7 titled Construction Details shows a W-beam rail element. Based on the details, it will be over 2 feet tall. Is a steel guide rail in keeping with the character of the historic district?
Defer to the traffic engineer, they prepared the roadway design plans, which I believe you're referring to.
So the rest of these are about the guide rail, so I'm not sure if these will be for you. Is the guide rail placed at the edge of the widened roadway?
It is placed at the edge of the roadway, yes.
Is there a shoulder or other area between the road and the guide rail?
I'm not familiar.
Did you know that there are curbs along Route 173 from the truck stop down to the Muscatine River Bridge?
I'm not aware.
Did you tell the township planner that the reasoning for not complying with the curbs and sidewalk ordinances was saving trees and grading?
I believe I said it's because it is under DOT jurisdiction.
If most of the existing vegetation is being removed along Route 173, which will require substantial regrading, isn't it technically feasible to install curbs and or sidewalks instead of a guide rail?
The majority of the vegetation along the frontage is not being removed. I covered that in my prior testimony regarding that buffer exhibit behind you.
Okay. With the proposed guide rail located at the edge of the widened Route 173, where would it be safe for anyone riding a bicycle or walking along Route 173, especially in the area of the driveway and roadway intersection?
Again, things related to the roadway improvements, I defer to our traffic engineer.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else with questions? There we go.
No sold signs.
Identify yourself for the record.
Bob Watrous, WATROUS, Alexandria Township, and I own a property in Bloomsbury.
Okay.
Okay. Are you a licensed landscape architect?
I'm not.
What training do you have in landscape design?
I do not. We have a separate landscape architect in-house that I work with to prepare the landscape design.
Would the applicant allow the landscape architect that designed the plans to present the plans and testify?
I would have to talk with the applicant about that.
Would you? Would you talk to the applicant?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Can you describe panic grass, Panicum virgata?
Say what?
You can't, he's not in LA.
He's not a listen, listen.
Okay.
I don't know what you're
so-
talking about, and neither does he.
But he has the landscape plan. His name is on the landscape.
Yes, which he's allowed to do because someone at his firm who is an LLA.
But if we can't have a landscape architect from this firm come and testify, how are we gonna get any
You know what?
answers regarding the
Fine,
landscape?
put your questions into the record. He's gonna say that he can't answer them, and then the applicant's attorney will have to decide what to do about that. Ask the questions that you're interested in
Okay.
finding out.
Okay. Do you know that panic grass grows 5 to 6 feet tall?
No.
Okay. Can you see a problem with it being planted in the site triangle?
I'm unfamiliar with that planting.
Okay. The new site triangle takes out 600 feet of vegetation along the road.
Does the new,
Does
does the new site triangle take out?
600 feet
We'll
of
defer to the
planting.
traffic engineer regarding the site exhibits that were submitted.
The demolition plan, is that complete as far as the number of trees inventoried and surveyed and what is now shown on the landscape plan versus what is shown on the demolition plan?
I'm gonna object because it's a compound question and I couldn't.
Definitely, if those plans are coordinated.
Do they jive?
The latest landscape plan that was submitted in October does not reflect the demolition plan. The demolition plan needs to be updated. This landscape plan was updated subsequently after that demolition plan was submitted.
And so the list of plants to be removed along the highway, which you said was minimal, is actually much more substantial.
Again, the partial tree survey was done. It does not quantify all the trees on site. I could not tell you how many trees are being removed along the
He
front.
didn't ask you that.
Okay. The bio, retention basin, spring maintenance is called for once a year, putting mulch down 3 inches. And it's to suppress weeds according to the plan.
Is that correct?
Is that
according to the
correct?
plan?
I would have to look at the plan. I don't know.
Wouldn't the mulch also kill the new plantings in the bio retention basin? And if so,
No, no,
then,
no, that's compound stuff.
okay,
Do the first part of the question.
okay, wouldn't the mulch also kill the new wildflower plantings?
I'm not familiar with that. Defer to,
Okay, does mulch float?
I honestly,
Wood chips,
I
do they
don't know.
float?
He said he doesn't know.
Guess.
When
I don't
mulch
know that.
floats up against the chain link fence.
Hold it. You asked him if the mulch float.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't ask him any more questions about mulch, he doesn't know.
Okay. It's really difficult to ask somebody that doesn't know about landscapes.
Right.
Let's ask the applicant's attorney, do you want to hear his questions that he has about landscaping or not?
How many more questions do you have?
Just a few.
I'll
You got
take as
29 seconds, so
Okay.
pick one.
Yes. well,
So when you have, stop for a second,
Okay.
stop. My suggestion is, we know these questions, you're not gonna know the answers to. Let him ask all his questions, and at the end say, I don't know the answers to those questions. Go ahead.
When you have two pipes discharging over a newly planted wildflower meadow, and one of them is 36 inches in diameter and one 15. Will the seed stay in place or will it get washed away?
Next question.
And I'm pretty much done because the point is made.
No, well, you haven't made it. What point?
The point is.
No, no, you understand?
Okay,
You understand? Points are for when you're testifying. This is for questions. If you have other questions and you want them answered, you better ask them. And then they're gonna decide if they bring in the landscape guy or not.
was it necessary to put the bio retention basin in a flood hazard zone?
Next question.
Was it necessary to put the bio retention basin, the one in the eastern corner, in the buffer area?
Next question.
No, he's done.
Oh, you're done.
Okay.
You can answer the question about the location of the bio retention.
Hell, he's gonna answer your question about the location of the bio. Go ahead.
Sure. Regarding the location of bio retention basin, it has to be located in the buffer because it needs to pick up drainage from the driveway, which is located along the highway. And because of the topography, we have to place it in a location where water will actually drain. Unfortunately, that is in the site frontage.
Okay. We have another person with questions? You identify yourself for the record.
Yes, my name is Sheila Devara, Sheila Debaora, resident of Bloomsbury.
Give me the last name again.
Devara, Debaora.
Okay, and you said you're a resident of?
Bloomsbury.
Bloomsbury. Go ahead.
Okay, so my questions are regarding lighting. Sir, would you agree that the Greenwich ordinances, quote, low density industrial limits light to 0.2 foot candles for parking and 0.5 for vehicle areas? And am I correct in saying that the applicant has applied for a variance to allow a 0.81 foot candles for the parking lot?
It's going to object to the question because it's compound, but if you can.
You can ask-
Oh, I can split.
Sure. Split the question. So the first part is, she wants to know if you're aware of what the ordinance standard is for lighting.
I am, yes.
And am I correct?
No. He said he's aware. Don't you want to know what it is?
I know.
You
what it
asked.
is.
Okay, so you don't care if he answers what it is.
I want to know, does he know?
I know.
It's an acknowledgement.
So we'll let him, he said he knows, but he didn't say what it was.
Oh, got it, come back.
Is there a question pending now?
Yes.
I'm not
The
sure.
question pending is, what are the lighting levels per ordinance for which two areas did you ask about?
Parking
These shouldn't count towards her time because she has to repeat them because the applicant's attorney told her to. Parking and
and the vehicle area, other vehicle
the
areas.
other vehicle area.
Yeah, the requirement for general parking areas is 0.2 foot candles, and for other vehicular areas, it's 0.5 foot candles.
Okay, am I correct in, can I proceed?
Yeah.
Thank- am I correct in saying that the applicant has applied for variance to allow a 0.81 foot candles for the parking lot?
That is incorrect. It's 0.72.
Okay, that's my bad. Maybe go over the issue of the elevation of the lights that will be placed on the side of the building facing towards Route 173 and the town of Bloomsbury.
Are you able to answer the questions with regard to the lighting of the
Lighting?
building, on the building?
Yes.
Okay.
Could you please tell me if you disagree with the following calculations? The finished first floor elevation is about 320 feet.
Is that correct? Take it question by question.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Add to this the height of the proposed 25 feet from,
Okay. Ask her, is
is,
the building 25 feet high?
no, it's not the building, it's the lights then,
Okay,
added,
are the light stanchions 25 foot high?
Yes.
added to the 320 feet. So we have 320 feet plus the 25 feet. Would that be correct?
I mean, the light elevation,
The mounting height, yes, correct.
Now I've lost my train. So the elevation of Route 1, would you agree that the elevation of Route 173 is about 275 feet? Making the light,
don't do, see, question by question, don't compound it. Would you agree that the elevation of Route 73?
is about 275 feet?
Yes.
Would that then make the fixtures approximately 70 feet above the road?
Doing the math, approximately, yes.
Approximately, is good, okay. Will these lights being placed at approximately 70 feet above the road illuminate against the walls itself?
You saw the pictures, yes, there'll be some illumination off the building.
What is the building facade to be made of?
Question for the architect.
Has the reflective quality of the building been taken into consideration as part of the illumination calculations?
No, the illumination calculations are measured for the illumination at grade level, the surface level.
So that's no. Your answer to that one is no.
Correct.
Would you agree that based on the increased brightness of the foot candle measurements being requested from what we agreed at the very beginning to
0.72 is what he said.
0.72, correct. And the height of the fixtures, possibly reflecting off the building itself, that the residents and travelers in and around Bloomsbury will be subjected to an 880-foot long, 25-foot tall, bright stream of visible lights all around.
I mean, the building will be illuminated, yes, there are
That's
building
yes.
mounted lights.
Yes, your answer
The
is
town
yes.
code measures illumination based on surface grade, which we are looking to comply with. All the measurements that you mentioned are measured at grade to surface grade.
Okay, but your answer is yes.
Is there any spillover, John?
There's no spillover onto the adjacent properties or along the roadway.
However, you did say you don't know what the building facade is made of. So if the building facade is made of something that might be reflective, that would add to the illumination that would pour down towards the river, the drivers, and the residents of Bloomsbury, correct?
You're gonna have to repeat that question, I'm sorry.
Yeah, listen,
Do I have
are you-
time?
I don't understand. Are you asking if the light reflects off the building when
Yes.
we're outside the property line, or if you could see the building from?
I'm asking
area?
I'm asking if, depending on what the building is made of, which the gentleman said he did not know, fair enough. If that would add to the foot candle, which is the measurement of light, and make it more intensely bright.
It's
That's
not
her
a
question.
magnifying
You
glass.
understand that?
The building is located several hundred feet from the property line. Any reflection off the building is not gonna increase the illumination at the surface at the property line.
That's his answer.
Okay. Do I have more time?
Yeah, one question.
One question.
Pick
Here
a
I
good
go.
one.
Huh?
Pick a good one.
Did you testify that all the lights will be turned off after working hours except for security lights?
Yes,
Under what circumstances could all of the lights be considered security lighting?
again, this is coordinated with the township police department, so.
But the ordinance says you gotta go to the police department and get that, and get a decision on what's security and what's not security.
Can we just all agree that the practical answer is all of the lights will not remain on? Just security lights around the entrances and what is necessary.
But who's the person responsible for deciding which lights are responsible for security?
It would be the owner in consultation with the township and the police department.
Exactly, so that is my last question.
Okay, she snuck two in, but very good questions.
Can I do the last one?
No.
Restating what you just
No.
said?
No, okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yes. You identify yourself for the record.
Yeah, Jonathan. Evanowski.
You spell the last names. The same, I'm
yeah,
Jonathan
yeah,
also,
same
that I
like
can
that.
spell.
EVANOWSKI.
Okay, and you're a resident of Bloomsbury, okay, go ahead, ask your question.
My questions are regarding wildflower maintenance and invasive species. Do you have any experience in wildflower or meadow creation at the scale of 13 acres?
And previously stated, I'm a landscape architect, so no.
Does seeding the disturbed areas with native wildflowers sound beautiful?
Yes, objection, it calls for a speculative answer.
We sustain the objection, yes.
Thank you.
Are light industrial properties generally known for their high maintenance gardening?
No, the landscaping that's proposed is generally low maintenance, native plantings that require little maintenance.
Are wildflower meadows in this area quickly invaded by invasive exotic species such as multiflora rose, Japanese barberry, autumn or Russian olive, and many others?
I'm not a landscape architect, I can't answer that.
Is a meadow, is a wildflower meadow being proposed as part of the plan?
Yeah, all the areas of the farm fields that aren't being used for the development are proposed to be restored to a native condition.
And that includes wildflowers in certain
Yes,
locations?
there's
Yeah.
a wildflower seeding mix.
All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Does the landscape maintenance plan for the wildflower meadow areas call for hand weeding or herbicide control of invasive exotic plants by a contractor that can recognize the difference between a young native plant and invasive exotic plants?
Not a landscape architect, I can't answer that.
How much time would it take a person with knowledge to hand weed 13 acres during the first year?
Yeah, not a landscape architect, I can't answer that.
How many times a year would the hand weeding have to be done?
I'm just gonna object, and I'm not trying to be rude, but he doesn't know the answer to that, the first question, so that's the follow-up. I don't think he can answer as well.
Yeah, sustained. So we can't ask questions that, well, regarding wildflowers, because he doesn't.
So here's my suggestion.
Yes, first of all, I know that you're the board planning expert. Do you happen to also be an LLA, a licensed landscape?
Yes.
Okay, can you answer any of these questions? Because he can't, so we
So-
just get to the chase.
So
on it?
here's my suggestion. I would recommend that the landscape architect that developed these plans come in and answer these questions so that the folks that are asked them understand what the methods are of planting, the reasons why the plan is put together the way it is, and what the maintenance is of the plant material.
I'll talk with the
Okay,
applicant.
thank you.
So, any questions on any of the landscaping? You don't have to ask anymore. We now know for the record, there's questions and it's up to them if they're gonna bring someone in to answer them or not.
Yeah.
And if they do, you get the answers. If they don't, then the board will have to consider what to do about that.
And I will tell everyone here that there is on sheet 15, extensive amount of notes that goes to planting methods as well as maintenance. So there may be some of those answers on the existing plans.
Yeah, so now so this is a note for the public. Go to the website, go to the landscape plan, sheet 15, and read the notes. And a lot of your questions might be answered there, and if you still have questions, then you'll ask them.
I mean, you might know this one. Other than the aprons of riprap, are there any other permanent erosion controls proposed below the pipes that discharge onto the wildflower meadow areas?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Other than the aprons of riprap, are there any other permanent proposed erosion controls proposed below the pipes that discharge onto the wildflower meadow areas?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else have any questions for this witness? All that, but again, you seem familiar. What's your name again?
Neil Moorcroft.
Right, so
I applied last time, I would like to testify just.
you didn't testify, you asked questions.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
You're not supposed to ask questions again.
There were some documents that were submitted online.
Okay, what new documents are you talking about?
The SHPO correspondence questions. Am I permitted to ask questions at this time?
Let's ask Mr. Lepari, who do you want to have answered questions about the SHPO stuff that was submitted? I believe your engineer submitted it. Because that is a good point.
This was a document that was submitted a year ago.
This was a document that
Well,
was submitted
What's the document?
April 24, 2025.
Right.
From Chris Romanowski from the DEP to Mr. Estrani.
Correct.
Okay, so this is April 24, 2025.
Correct, yes. That was, he had an opportunity to ask the questions. I mean, we can go round and round with everybody getting the second bite of the apple, and his application will never get completed.
Wait, wasn't this just submitted into the record?
I don't believe so.
Oh, I believe so.
It was requested by the board to resubmit as part of the process, but it wasn't originally
Right.
submitted.
But it was.
previously.
It's on the
From the other
township
application.
website,
Huh?
it's on the township website for a long time. I
Hold
believe.
it. Was this thing submitted prior to October 9?
Yeah, I believe it was.
I don't believe it was.
Previously submitted.
No. Was this,
I said I believe it was.
I'm asking, who submitted it who submitted it this time? Did you submit it? Did the engineer or the attorney submit this?
It was included in our submission packs at the board's request.
Right, your submission package dated what?
September, well, actually, sorry, I apologize. It might have been the most recent one, October.
10/23.
Yes.
And it was submitted prior to as well.
Not in this record. This document, we said in the beginning, you were starting from scratch in October. This was submitted on October 23. He asked questions on October 9. This was not part of the new record until October 23. In my opinion, he should be able to ask questions about this document, but it's your ruling.
Yeah, I agree. How many questions do you have?
3 minutes, section.
3 minutes, that's it?
I'm allowed 3 minutes, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
bang them out. Ready?
Whoa,
You tell me when to start.
A resident of,
Greenwich. Do you want a copy of the document so you can refer to, is that reasonable to give it?
you want a copy of the document or do you have it already? You want a copy of what it's gonna be? You have a copy, okay. Okay, do you have an extra copy?
I do.
I will take one. Thank you.
So, page 4, fourth paragraph, would you agree that the SHPO, the State Historic Preservation Office, has not reviewed this project? So all this correspondence is just conversation and not a decision?
Well, I don't know, John,
I mean, I
we
can't-
can testify what the,
I can't speak to the DEP staff member on his opinion of that. He wrote the email, I did not.
Okay, what your answer is, the email speaks for itself. Right? That's your answer?
Yes.
Page 4, third paragraph.
would you agree that SHPO is expressing a concern about the demolition and would actually seek action to protect this historic property?
And hypothetical,
No, is that what the third paragraph says? That's what he wants to know.
I think he was trying to answer the question.
No, he said it was a hypothetical. He wants to know what does the third paragraph say? That's what he's asking, page 4, third
No,
paragraph.
he asked if they're expressing a concern.
The third paragraph on page 4 basically says, if the application were subject to any of the triggered reviews, then SHPO would have a concern, and it outlines that procedure, but we're not there yet, so it's not a situation that has occurred yet.
So it's a
SHPO has not weighed in on this. They've given no opinion.
Page 3, second from the bottom. Would you agree that a freshlands wetlands permit would actually trigger a SHPO review?
There are no freshwater wetlands on site.
That's not what he asked you. If there were would a freshwater wetlands review trigger a SHPO review?
Yes.
To your previous answer. So you seem to be in page 1's last 2 paragraphs suggesting that a freshlands permit is not needed. Isn't that a determination by the DEP, not Stonefield?
The applicant has obtained a letter of interest from the DEP. It was previously submitted stating that there are no wetlands or wetland buffers on the project site.
But that didn't include lot 8 across the road along the river, did it?
I don't have the LOI in front of me. The applicant used the wetland consultant to file for this property, and we have a letter stating that on lot 12, there are no wetlands or wetland buffers.
So have the freshlands wetlands transition areas and the top of the bank been determined yet by the DEP?
Again, I can't speak for the DEP. The applicant submitted an LOI for lot 12 that not only states there are no wetland bodies, but no wetland buffers that encroach into the property.
So if you don't know if the top of the bank has been officially determined, then couldn't that impact the location, the riparian buffer on your plans and which DEP permits are actually required?
The top of bank is separate from a wetland. You're talking, it's apples and oranges. The top of bank is for the stream buffer determination, which was surveyed.
So by you or the DEP?
It was surveyed by our office. It will be submitted to the DEP as part of the verification application. I've discussed this at length in prior testimony.
On October 9th?
Not on October 9th. Yes.
He answered the question though.
Are you aware of the resolution from the Greenwich Township Historic Commission that mentions the Peter Smith farmhouse?
Whoa, what resolution? Give him the date.
November 4th. 2025.
Yeah, let me see if.
That's in the packet, it's our packet.
Yeah, okay, I see it,
But it's not a resolution.
Well, it says, it purports, it says it's a resolution.
So I believe the question was, are you aware?
Yeah,
I'm not aware.
Am I allowed to refer to this?
give it to him. Give him a copy.
So page 1, 5th paragraph, have you made an assessment of your proposed demolition of this farmhouse for the impact to the Musconetcong River Management Plan?
Again, I have not seen this document before, so no.
Questions independent really of the document. Have you made an assessment to the Musconetcong River Plan?
No.
Object, okay.
So page 1, 6th paragraph, would you agree that Peter Smith Farmhouse is a contributing resource to the historic, outstanding, remarkable value of the Musconetcong River and the National Park Service has an interest in your proposed demolition?
I'm not aware, and I don't know if this will help. I'm not an expert in historical or scenic resources. I simply have stated this before, and I know I have said this at the prior hearing. Currently, the property is not a historic landmark under state or national. It's not a recognized landmark.
Let me just ask one question, because this is a new record. So I don't, doesn't matter what you said in the last one. What is the applicant's position about the farmhouse? Last time, the position was, whatever the board wants, we'll do. If the board wants it to remain, it will remain. If the board wants it taken down, we'll take it down. If that's the applicant's position here,
You know, the applicant's proposing to remove the farmhouse as part of the application.
okay. If the board wanted it retained. And it imposed a condition to retain it, would the applicant agree with that condition or not?
I suppose I would consult with them, but I do know that that would require
A
the
bunch of
granting of
variants.
5 or 6 additional
Right.
variances, which would have to be granted as a result of the
Right.
request to have it remain,
Right.
in addition to other things.
Right, so if the board wanted it to remain and would have to grant a bunch of C variances for it, would the applicant agree to that? Or not?
Again, I would have to double check, provided that the NJDOT doesn't have an issue with it remaining. There's a lot of other issues. It's hard to answer in a vacuum, but it's not a part of this application right now.
You're not proposing to
We're
keep it,
proposing,
we're
we're
proposing
proposing
to
to
remove
remove it, correct. And there's no jurisdiction that we are aware of that would require it to remain.
No, I understand that.
Okay, well,
But their position's a little different this time than last time. Last time it was, whatever you want us to do, we'll do with it. This time it's, we're proposing to remove it. Push came to shove, I don't know what they would say or not. I don't know what the board feels about it either, right? And I don't wanna speculate.
Have any of your projects been subject to a 7A review by a federal agency?
Not familiar with that process, so. No, not to my knowledge.
So should a section 7A review determine that demolishing the Petersmith farmhouse would have an adverse effect on the wild and scenic values of the Musconetcon? Do you understand that a federal determination would be legally binding and not a recommendation?
I'm just gonna object because he just stated that he was not familiar with the process, and then you're asking about the process. So
One more question. Make it a good one. Thank you. Anyone else? All right, seeing none.
Going once, going twice, going 3 times, none.
All right, you need a minute?
You want a break or not?
All right, so we're gonna take,
Well,
What
it's
do you want to do?
9:55.
I know, but
Are you gonna take any additional testimony?
yeah,
I
you
don't-
take
yeah.
a new witness.
you have a new witness, we'll get them started.
What time are, okay, what time?
10:30.
We're going till
10:30.
10:30.
10:30, okay, then. I apologize for
minute-
interrupting.
5 minute break,
5 minutes.
5 minute break.
Minute, strict 5 minute.
4 minute break now, come back at 10 o'clock. Who's the next witness? Who's our next witness?
Thank you. The next witness we are gonna call is the project architect, Joe DiGiorgio. I'll say no more because we're pressed for time, so I'll let him go. Mr. DiGiorgio, you need to be sworn. I don't believe you've been sworn in at all.
Correct. You raise your right hand, you swear or affirm the testimony you're gonna give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes,
Can you spell your last name slowly?
sure. D-I, capital G-I-O-R-G-I-O.
Okay, and you are a registered architect in the state of New Jersey, correct?
That's correct.
Can you get them qualified?
Yeah, your license is recurrent.
Yes.
Can you give us a very, very briefly, some, educational background and some of your professional qualifications or, your professional history, since you already qualified or testified that you're a licensed architect?
Sure. President of 142 Architecture. I have a Bachelor of Architecture and a Master of Architecture from Kent State University. I have over 15 years' experience in industrial and light manufacturing buildings, licensed in New Jersey and 29 other states. I've testified amongst boards.
That's good. I think I'm just gonna offer at this point in time. Thank you. Please, Mr. DiGiorgio, if you could walk us through the plans that you submitted. Well, first of all, you prepared, or someone under your guidance prepared the plans that were submitted as part of this application, the architectural plans?
That's correct. We have 6 exhibits before us tonight, dated 10/20/2025.
Okay, and can you just walk us through the plans, and if we need to refer to exhibits, I'll help you out if you
Sure.
just tell me what to do.
Hold on for a second. When you say exhibits, we have 6 sheets.
Yes,
What you're
6
talking
sheets.
about?
Yeah. I think this is the,
And you said that they're dated 10/20/20. Oh, I see. They're dated 10/20/25. All right on the bottom of each of the sheets. Okay.
really small.
So why, you know, do you have another one of these?
Yeah.
Give one to the court reporter, please.
Do you have an extra copy?
No, yeah, okay. So, you give me to the court reporter, this is Jeremy, it says exhibits, they're not exhibits. But if you want to identify the six architectural sheets that have been submitted into the records, it's on this piece of paper, and if you can just incorporate it into the transcript, that would be appreciated.
Can I make a copy of that, John, please?
Yeah, do you have one more copy for the board secretary?
I don't, no.
Well, we can give it to you.
No, this.
No.
We can
Yeah, take that.
submit it after the fact. Or you can make a copy of that. Go, take it away.
Sure, so the first sheet is a general conceptual site plan that shows the overview
Oh,
0, 0.
right. And we're not marking those big things on the board. Those are demonstrative exhibits. You're gonna take them home with you. The exhibit, what's submitted to the board are the 11 by 17.
They're the same as what was submitted to the board.
Same thing, that's
Okay,
correct.
and we won't mark them, but you're referring to 0, 0 at this point.
Sure, so overall site plan for reference only to accommodate the two site sections that we have. Just to get everyone oriented on the site again, Route 78 is to the plan north. Route 173 is plan south. We have the proposed building in the middle. And then the two line of sight diagrams, diagram 1 and diagram 2, that will show up on the next sheet.
Want to put that up?
Sure.
Yes.
Next sheet 01. Titled conceptual diagrams. These are exhibits, diagrams that show the line of sight with the two line of sight diagrams. Diagram number 2 is the view from Route 173. From the left-hand side of that diagram, you could see the estimated elevation mark of 275 feet, the finished floor of 320 feet, and then the general line of sight as if a pedestrian was standing outside the property line, looking towards the front of the building. And you'll also notice the rooftop units on the top of the building. They're situated to the rear of the building. Approximate sizes are 5 feet high by 10 feet long, 10 feet wide. Additionally, on that sheet, you'll see the proposed plantings as shown on the landscape plan. Some of the site retaining walls and building height of 45 feet maximum.
I assume that in between the retaining walls, those are detention basins, or?
That's correct.
Okay.
You know, so there's two sight lines. You have one that's lower that skims and then hits the building, and one that's higher. What's the difference between those two sight lines?
One is perpendicular to the building from Route 173. Diagram 1 is on an angle so that we capture Route 78 from 173.
No.
I think I'll, sorry, Ken, I'm just gonna speed up. I think what she means is there's two dotted lines, one that monitors the land and one that monitors the trees. So you can.
Yes, so both of them are, we're trying to capture what you would be seeing. The top line is as if you were looking, essentially.
Are you saying
above
the
tree
bottom line is if there was no vegetation?
That's
what
correct.
you'd see, and the top line is what you would see if the vegetation is planted?
Correct, yeah.
And how many years out is that top line? At
These-
planting, or 5 years or 10 years?
These are at fully grown, these are mature shown.
So how many years till they get mature?
Well, if I could ask a preliminary question, there's existing vegetation already on the site, right? There's a
That's
lot of
correct,
brush
yes.
From the road.
Yes,
Is that existing vegetation evergreen or deciduous?
I believe it's deciduous.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how many years until the top line of sight kicks in?
I believe it was 10 to 20 years.
Okay. And light gray is the existing and the darker is the new?
That's correct.
Okay.
You can continue.
Okay. Pointed out the rooftop units towards the rear of the building. This also indicates and shows the screening of the rooftop units by the parapet wall. As you can see from the line of sights, they would not be visible, due to the inherent location at the rear of the building. Move on to the next sheet. This would be 02. This is the floor plan of the proposed building. The 185,850 square foot building, approximately 36-foot clear height. This is a slab on grade, steel columns, perimeter load-bearing walls, steel roof structure, metal joists, metal roof deck insulation, roof membrane on top of that. Around the perimeter of the building are egress doors and fire department doors. This building has a depth of 210 feet by 885 feet long. You'll notice in blue are potential office areas at the front of the building. On the plan northeast is a proposed electrical room. And then we have some potential demising wall locations shown on there as well.
Those are the dark black lines?
Those are the dark black lines, that's correct. And then you'll also notice we're dashing in potential rooftop unit locations. There's 4 shown on the plan. Typically, a building of this size would need 2.
And your demising walls, Joe, you're showing a potential for 4 separate tenant spaces?
That's correct. When I plan these buildings, we always plan for flexibility. At the rear of the building are the loading dock doors and ramps and associated dock stairs for access inside the building.
What are the drive-in doors for? How do they operate?
The drive-in doors,
Yeah, what are
the
what are
ramps.
purpose for? Yeah, the drive-in ramps, and then I guess it's a doorway that would allow for a truck to go in. Is that what that is for? Or what is the ramp for with the?
Yeah, so there's 4 ramps shown, and that is typical of a light manufacturing building. The ramps are really for 2 purposes typically. One is getting equipment inside the building, right? Larger machines, CNC milling machines, or something that would not fit through a 9x10 dock door. So they use those 12x14 doors at the drive-in ramps. The other typical scenario is raw materials that could be coming in that would not fit on a tractor trailer. Right, it's just a larger piece of equipment.
So it's typically like a forklift that would be bringing?
That's correct, yes. It's not intended for vehicles or trucks
Okay.
to drive in that door. It's, it's something getting offloaded from a van or a box truck that have different heights.
I
That
assume
don't
there'll be
back up.
safety railings, so no one, so the.
Yeah, on each
doesn't
side.
Fall off the ramp, right?
Yes, it's hard to see on there, but there's a guardrail. There's a curb so that you don't fall off, and then a 42-inch guardrail on both sides, and then protected by bollards at the ends. The dock doors are 9x10, and then those larger loading doors are 12x14. 14 is not large enough for a tractor trailer to drive in. Just doesn't happen. There's some canopies shown on the front of the building at the proposed entrances. And associated man doors for egress and life safety.
Oh, 03.
03, these are the conceptual elevations and also the monument sign elevation. These elevations, they're load bearing concrete panels, medium texture paint, series of accent reveals, different neutral, warm tones for the paint color. The accent bands at the entrances are it's a aluminum composite metal panel that's representative of like a timber finish, almost like a wood plank. Canopies at the entrances, we have a series of storefront windows, storefront doors, clear story windows for some natural light into the space.
Look at that north elevation, 1/A3, that shows the dock doors and that shows the 4 ramps with the larger 12x14 doors, correct?
That's right. And the clear story windows.
Yeah, is that just an architectural feature, the dark black?
The accent vertical bands?
Yes.
Yeah, that's correct. We're trying to break up the elevation with some aesthetics and some paint colors throughout the site, throughout the elevations. If you look at the east elevation, there you could see the railing on that ramp. It's very small, I apologize.
And on sheet 03 in the upper left-hand corner, you have the exterior paint legend, you have the glazing legend,
That's correct.
and you got the notes.
That's right.
Okay.
You have the samples of colors, the glass, that accent, aluminum composite as well.
04. Kind of move this thing.
Yeah, Joe, you ready for 04?
Oh, for sure. This is a computerized rendering of the aerial of the building. Showing the vegetation. You could see the auto parking at the front. You could see the designated entrances. You'll notice we show those 4 proposed rooftop units. Parking along the sides and associated trees.
Where is
landscaping
Route
throughout.
78 and where's the way station? If I'm
Route
looking at
78 would be beyond, like, over that back corner.
Okay, up, so up.
Yeah.
You're going, okay.
Way station would be to the, I guess, the right, east of the sheet.
05.
Five, this is another computerized rendering of the entrance. You'll see the monument sign there. And then, the building off into the distance, and then we kind of ghosted in some of the trees just so that you could see the building beyond.
And are those, I'm sorry,
You go ahead, I'm gonna ask the same question. Go
are
ahead.
those trees proposed or existing?
Those are proposed.
All of the trees are proposed that are on.
In this view, yes.
Because those trees are at maturity, not at planting.
Those are maturity.
Right, and can you just explain briefly the exhibit about how some of these trees are cheaper or the opacity of the trees? and why
Yeah,
they're
so
that way?
we turn the opacity down on those rendering of the trees so that you can see a little bit of the building. We could turn it back up, if you wanted to show us the building.
If you turned it back up to show what it would actually look like, would it be blocking the building significantly more?
That's correct.
Okay, and that's why you turned it down.
Yes.
Like, I mean, if you look at it and you see the trees in the lighter color on the building, those are the trees you're talking about, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, they look like shadows, but they're not.
Just point them out.
Yeah, right here along the front corner of the building, they look like shadows, but they're actually trees that were
And those are,
modified, so you can see through them to see the building.
those are deciduous trees, correct?
Those are deciduous trees. Yes,
So-
there's some,
How many months out of the year would they provide screening?
I would have to defer to the landscape.
You probably know the answer.
I do. That's just- It's an exhibit that he presented, so.
Right.
You ready for questions? Do you have anything else for them? Maybe we get some board questions in.
Go ahead, yeah. I can always chime in when I need to, but go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
So. Couple of quick questions and we'll open it up to the board. I'll start. There was a question from the public. to the engineer, he didn't have the answer about reflection of the building material. Light reflection, yeah, so I'm just trying to get some of these questions.
Yeah, light reflection.
Yeah, so there was a,
Reflecting during the
there was a
day?
concern that from the candle power, from the lights would reflect off the outside of the building.
I'm gonna, sorry to interrupt you, Chairman, I'm gonna refer to page 0303, where you have the exterior paint legend, et cetera. Are these reflective materials that you're using that would reflect light that would cause it to reflect onto the street or off of the property? And by light, I mean the building lighting or the parking lot lighting. Are they highly reflective materials?
No, I'm looking at the light reflectance value of these paint samples on the back.
Do you have either the parking lot light fixtures or the building light fixtures shown on?
On the elevations?
Yeah.
No.
Can you maybe just briefly tell us what the light reflective, value is?
Sure.
And whether or not that's high value or not?
Yeah, I mean, the snowbound color is light, right? It's light reflectance value of 83. The bronze color, light reflective value of 8.
Sean is on there.
The Acer color, right, light reflectance value of 32, which is medium. And then City Loft, light reflectance value of 70. So it's a variety of medium to light to dark reflectance.
The next question, does anybody have a question regarding light only?
Yeah. The numbers given, the higher the number, the more reflectivity of light
Generally,
of that
yes.
particular material. That's what I was hoping he could hold a,
Yeah, no, that's
maybe one of the scores.
want to stay on.
Ladies.
You wanna hold up
Thank
the
you.
bronze and show us what the bronze looks like? I know you have a.
Yeah, the one,
Example.
the one that has the higher reflectance is lower towards the base.
Okay.
The one at the top of the building is the medium reflectance.
Makes sense.
All right, there's one more question from the public.
Security lights.
All right, so there's two more questions. The first one was the depth of footers. Is that something you could talk to? Because I know initially they said that would be more of a construction permit type time. Do you know how deep the footers on the building?
The footings.
On this building?
Yeah.
No, that's a
Construction.
structural engineering.
But didn't you say it was slab on grade?
This is slab on grade. The footings would be, they're generally spread footings. I don't know.
They need
It
foot-
Depends on
Yeah.
cost.
So just somebody asked it from the public, so
Right.
if we could get that question answered, that would have been, that's fine. Lighting, Jeremy?
Somebody asked about security features. And that was,
But that's, right.
With the lighting, with the lighting.
that's fine. I just asked about security features and the engineer said that that's a question for the architect.
And then I have the big
You're
question.
right, you're right.
What's that? It seems to be an excessive amount of loading dock doors. Can you explain why we need so many loading dock doors when we don't know what the tenant is? Is this a worst case scenario or best case scenario for you? Or is this something that could be adjusted when it comes down to when you bring the tenant in, those types of things? Just seems like that's an awful lot of doors for manufacturing.
Yeah, I would say, the 32 doors are not excessive. We're designing this building for flexibility, marketability, trying to attract the highest and best tenant for the building, for the community. The fewer doors we show, would be a disservice to marketing the building. We're trying to provide as much flexibility as possible.
So is there a potential scenario where your tenant comes in and says, I only need 4? And you would build 4? Is that a potential scenario?
I don't know who the tenant is, if there is a tenant.
Can I ask the question?
Yeah, no, sure.
Cause I think the answer is if it's designed the way we intend to build it, that doesn't mean we're actually going to use it, but it's going to provide flexibility for a tenant or a turnover and tenant that might need it in the future. Would that be
That's
accurate to
correct.
say? So we're gonna our plan is to design and build it with the number of doors that we're showing, which by the way is a significant reduction from what we started with in the fifties. But if a tenant doesn't use it, if they don't need it, they just won't use it. Is that
That's
typically how
correct,
that
yes,
works?
yes.
Jeremy?
So you were doing this for a long time and that you designed a lot of light manufacturing buildings. Have you designed one recently, within the last couple of years of this size and this many dock doors?
I have,
Was it within an industrial park or was it standalone?
this particular one was standalone. It was light industrial, it was about 300,000 square feet.
And what municipality was that in? And how many years ago was it?
It's Bridgewater, New Jersey, Somerset County.
Do you know the tenants that are in there, tenant or tenants?
I don't know.
And an address, lot and block, anything?
I
I'm
don't
sure we can
recall.
provide that.
Yeah, I'd like you to, yes. I'd like to. And one other question on this, just. Cause you said it's standalone. Was a portion of it, the entrance to be accessed via a state highway or a road that was limited to. You know, the weight of the tractor trailers or the equipment that could go there, because this is a road 173 that's, you know. Gross vehicle weight,
I don't
Restricted.
recall.
okay, cause that's a major concern.
I don't recall the,
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I'd like to get that address, please.
Yes, I will, I'll ask him to provide it for you.
Any other board members?
Yeah, I have a question. Are there any renderings of what the plantings would look like before mature height, like when they're installed?
provided, no.
Could we get that?
She's requesting that you submit
See what-
some sort of elevation,
when
but
it's
with the
built.
trees at planting, rather than.
20 years from now.
Yeah.
What we'll have to consult with the engineers on that, obviously, because they're the ones that did this, the survey. He didn't prepare the planting, so we'll have to double check to see if we could, because there's a lot of existing, vegetation. So we'll have to, see if. Sometimes it won't, sometimes it doesn't show up as much. But I understand the question. The request, I mean.
Any other board members? We fine? All right, so my recommendation.
Yeah, I do not suggest starting the public.
Now, we got 5 minutes.
Did you have anything that you wanna ask?
No, I think I asked all the questions. Most of my comments as relates to the building really relates to the landscaping. So if the landscape architect could be here. I think that's a better way to handle the buffering request, although it's sitting in your exhibit. I don't think you can necessarily answer specific questions. I did have the same comment that Ms. Cullen indicated, is that it was looking for perspectives of the building from the roadway, not necessarily bird's eye view or bird's eye view, but from the roadway that gives the 10-year and 20-year growth of, and it's in my report, of the planting, of the height of the plantings, so that people understand what they will see at planting at 10 years and 20 years. Yeah.
Year one.
Right,
Yep.
year 1 and
Exactly.
10, year 20.
Maturity.
Right.
Is there any specific location?
From the front, I think.
I think the front
173.
elevation, maybe someone down the road as well, looking back towards, so maybe like from each side corner of the property line. I think that would help. One of my recommendations is that we have larger plantings and more plantings. So it would,
Are you also suggesting evergreens, addition of evergreens? and
well,
not just
they have
particular-
some evergreens that are being planted, but what I will note is that between the last plan that we had, the previous application and this application, there was a reduction in the number of plantings of trees. And so, I mean, so you could plan, I don't mean to be focusing on you, but one of my comments is that a landscape plan needs to be updated to actually mimic the amount of plantings that was previously provided.
In other words, she liked the previous planting plan better than this current planting plan.
Yeah, I've always had the comment about having larger trees planted, however, so. But yeah, the perspective view would be very helpful, I think, for the board to understand what the impact is, because as you all know, what's being requested is there are some variances from the buffer, from the parking to be allowed in the front yard. And so for you to understand what the impact of that is, in my opinion, I always like the pictures to show you what's happening.
Some housekeeping for Mr. Lepard.
I have a quick one.
Yep, go ahead.
Because I don't want to keep doing the renderings, can we mark on one of the sheets where I should take the view from?
I'll mark it on here.
While she's doing that, so the hearing on this application is continued without further notice to the board's December 11th meeting. Right now, we have an extension.
Can I interrupt for a moment? John, before you go on, I have a question too. Should,
Sorry.
So quiet.
So sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
at our last meeting, I asked some questions that were sort of trying to drive at how many people would be in this building. I still don't think I've got an answer, and I think it was suggested that this witness would be able to add to that. The number of people that we expect in this building, some assumption had to have been made to define the parking, the septic system, the water, the HVAC needs. So what would that number be? What are you using as the assumption?
In terms of occupancy, it would be this building square footage divided by the occupant load, which would be 500 for a building like this. So 185 divided by 500 is 325. I can use a calculator. It's like
500. Okay. I don't need if that, I wanted to know how you came up with this. So you divided the square footage by 500?
That's in the building code.
Okay.
5 occupants per square foot.
That's the maximum
371
occupancy, right? That's the maximum occupancy allowed by code.
371.7 people, so 372 people.
372
people, he's saying is the maximum occupancy. He's not
Okay.
saying that they're expecting 370.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so. Housekeeping. So the hearing continued to December 11th without need for further notice. You previously extended to December 31, 2025. Which witnesses do you have left that you know you're gonna call?
Our traffic engineer and our planner.
Your landscape architect.
Well, and then the 32 that were requested of us.
Landscape architect and some representative of the owner or landlord, but this is all up to you. Traffic expert,
Each one's,
planning expert.
each expert taking 2 months minimum. We'd like to finish it before the end of 2026.
Yeah, I understand. But so I'm
we have to
thinking-
pick and choose a bit.
Right, we should ask for an extension to April 30th. 2025, based on.
Yeah,
that's fine. Okay, so you agree?
I got a grandkid coming.
That's what I was saying. The April 30th, 2025.
The application itself.
26.
It's about, we'll have 3 birthdays.
Next
itself,
year, right?
Application.
Pardon me, 2026, thank you. So you're extending to April 30th, 2026, correct? I said
Yeah.
2025.
I don't know, yeah, sure.
Okay.
April, I'm sorry, what was it?
April 30th, 2026. But we're gonna keep on plugging away every month until this thing is done.
Yeah. That's how it's going.
Anything else? We'll start with any members of the board. If anything pops up between now and next month, we'll start with
And
questions.
just any other board members have anything else that you're thinking about asking that you could tell them now, so he could do something about it and not have it asked for the first time on December 11th. Nope.
All right, motion,
Motion to adjourn your.
motion to adjourn. John, one. Everybody second?
Yeah.
I give it to Jeremy, one. All in favor, aye.
Aye.